right. Hey, how about that intro, huh? Something we just doctored up over there. Anyways, welcome to Gaming Academy. It is July 8th, 2025 here at the Academy in little tiny old Bellingham, Washington, the best podcast or gaming podcast here in the Pacific Northwest. And it is smoking hot up here right now. I don't know where you guys are watching, but awesome. Welcome. And of course, we appreciate you joining class once more. So, what's up? Welcome back to the Academy. If you are returning, also, it is class number 39. Man, that's a lot. We're almost at 50 here. And tonight, we're dropping into a special celebration because today is actually National Video Games Day. So awesome. And I actually looked this up on the internet, and sometimes it's today, sometimes it's like September like 28th or something. But screw it, we'll do it today. This is the day we honor games that made us gamers, and the gamers that we are, and the pixelated worlds, the boss fights, and the co-op memories, and those life-changing first clears. Whether you were Team Green Hill Zone, first caught him up in Pallet Town, or threw down in the arcades like I did with Street Fighter 2, we all have that one game that started it all. So tonight, in Yo Check This Out, we'll be talking about those legendary gateway games, and we want to hear from you. What game made you specifically a gamer? And after that, we're going to be heading into this week in gaming history, of course, your favorite, highlighting some of true classics like Final Fantasy IX, Pokemon Go, and Suikoden III, and much more. Now, over to tech, Blazing Ace Nelson is bringing us deep into the world of fan games with a spotlight on Project Fight Forever and our man Haggar, the man you know it, the mayor of Earth. So you already know it's going to get rowdy and crazy. Now, we added a new thing called the Roundtable here, and we're going to take on one big question for tonight. Is Game Pass actually good for the industry? We're cracking open the pros, the cons, and what it all means for gamers and devs alike. Of course, we'll share what we're playing now and now playing, and then we'll wrap up for the night with a heavy hitter and the final boss wisdom called the carry limit for tonight. Now, a reminder that sometimes to move forward, you got to drop some of that baggage. So, speaking of baggage, grab your potions, sharpen your inventory space, and let's get this party started. Class is officially in session. Grab a seat and let's go. And of course, I never do this alone. I try not to do it alone. So, let me introduce, of course, your what would I call him? Call him instructor of the blazing kind, Mr. Blazing Ace Nelson.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Just took a look at the syllabus for this week, and I'm really looking forward to not just the tech, because let's face it, every single developer that has ever been through the industry or ever will enter the industry started off as a hobbyist, started off as a fan, started off as a dreamer, a rookie with the tools and the drive to put what they have in their minds on the page or on the screen. So this week we're actually going to be celebrating probably one of the most polished fan games that I have had the opportunity to play, and this thing is still in the demo state. So definitely want to check this out.
Yeah, and we're still on the tangent of beat 'em ups, right? So this is like, if you're a beat 'em up fan, this is going to be a must watch. So hang in there. So. All right. Well, we always like to have somebody join in on this podcast, whether it's Nick, but he's too busy being daddy right now. But the man, the myth, the legend returns, formerly from Bellingham, but now at Tacoma. The urban legend known as that bastard.
Hey, I found Jay, I found the bacon. Hey, y'all want to get down on this breakfast sandwich? Oh shit, we're recording.
Yeah, he's a podcast from an alley.
I found bacon. I'm just saying, if y'all want to get down on the breakfast sandwiches afterwards, we can do some breakfast sandwiches. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is indeed Mr. Put It On, Mr. I ain't got no t-shirt and I don't need one. Mr. I got cats. Mr. Other hooligans.
Well, listen, we all know you probably don't have a shirt on because it's too damn hot.
It is pretty freaking hot.
It's sad because we used to be from California, and where it's 110 degrees in the shade, and we moved up to the Pacific Northwest, and now suddenly, like 20 years later, we turned to Chihuahuas.
Yeah, you adapt to the climate that you're in, right?
True.
What happened? All right, Jagos, what's going on? Got to talk about the fighting game. That's our roots, you know. Like I for one started enjoying fighting games. Like I don't know, I like beat 'em up first, like Final Fight, and then like I said, my cousin introduced me to Street Fighter. He's the one that lured me to the machine, and I was like, hey man, I'll give you the 50 cents to play me. And ever since that moment, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like I wanna get good, you know, get good. So all right, yeah. How's you guys' week? Any quick updates and notable things?
Well, more behind the scenes stuff on my end. It's a little rocky, but this is not the place. This is not the
We'll get there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. What did you guys see the fancy little intro that we got? What did you guys think about that?
Loved
That's
it.
pretty slick.
That was pretty cool, huh? Yeah, it's not bad for what we got, you know, with $0 spent. So not
Obviously,
bad.
whoever you got at Fiverr needs to be thanked. They can give him some 5-star for that.
Yeah, right. Before that, with TMNT in the arcades, Jago's just dropping down the names of the great arcades there. So that's awesome. Well, you'll tell us a little bit more because we're gonna jump into yo, check this out to talk about the topic for the night, National Video Games Day. So stay tuned.
Yo, check this out.
All right.
Did anyone
So
else hear that? What was that?
yo, check it out. That's what you gotta do. You gotta check it out. So, Duder, have you done yo, check this out with us yet?
Not actually. This is only my second time in the class. I'm officially, I guess, the cafeteria guy. I'm just gonna take that spot. If everyone else has like teacher roles, I'm the dude in the cafeteria. Yeah, I'm the baby girl in the background. Yes, I'm the lunch lady. So note the apron, note the authority of the fishnet of authority on my head. We about that life. But no, this is my second stream with you. I haven't done a yo check this out with you before.
All right, well, check this out. In this segment, if it's your first time here, come along the ride because this is, partially the part of the show where we just talk about random things of note on the internet. Sometimes I do like, hey, these are weird collector's editions that anyone's I've seen before, and just random things that we've learned and kind of like wanted to bring up to light in the gaming industry.
Or like the Western versus Eastern box art.
Yeah, that was fun, and we need to bring that back too. So we'll get there. But tonight is actually official National Video Games Day. So I don't know if you guys were aware, but it is the day of celebration for video games. So I don't know if you guys celebrated or not, but I did not. I did not go to any game store to that. But let it be known, July 8th is National Video Games Day, according to the internet. So.
I celebrated it by getting neck deep into Warframe again.
There you go. That's my boy right there.
I celebrated by building more roads in Australia because I'd be playing that Death Stranding too.
I did. I do that on SimCity, so I do that all day. So the real enemy is red tape. That's what it is.
You will regret this.
AKA Norman Reedus is having trouble bringing home the groceries.
Jay goes to call you lunch lady Tacoma. I love that.
Yeah. Oh, hey, really quick. I do have to apologize to your chat and to your listeners. Last time I was on, I'm new to Restream. I didn't even realize people were talking to me. Like Jay goes, I mean, nothing but love to you, bro. I'm seeing that over there. Lunch lady Tacoma. Lunch lady Tacoma. Yes. And I'm pretty sure only we, or at least the elders here, would even remember that song. Whatever. Shout out Billy Madison.
Well, welcome back to the show. Now with 100% more chat for you. So,
yeah.
But yeah, today is National Video Games Day, a day to celebrate games that turned us into lifelong players. The ones that leveled up our imaginations and taught us lessons before we even realized it. Now, whether it was running through Green Hill Zone at warp speed and beating your first boss in Mega Man, pulling that impossible clutch win in Street Fighter II at the arcade, especially if you're Zangief versus a Guile, that was a nightmare. We all have that one game, or 10, depends how rich you were, that really started. So for tonight on Yo, check this out. We're flipping through gaming history. We'll get there. Right now, I want to ask everybody here in the panel and in the chat, what game made you a gamer? What kind of sold it for you? What kind of just nailing the coffin? I am now a gamer. So
unfair. Unfair question. Very unfair.
Yeah, you got to dig deep for this one. Now, was it a game that felt impossible at the time but kept pulling you back? A game that bonded you with a friend or sibling? I know that's a good one. Or maybe a game that made you feel like a hero for the first time. Like Chrono Trigger is a really good one for that. Also, like maybe talk about some of the most notable things in like gaming related that really like, wow, I'm proud to be a gamer. Go ahead.
Well, for me, honestly, I mean, like there were a couple of really big games that really got me into the hobby, and they were mostly games that helped me bond with my siblings. But the one that like really kickstarted it was all those nights and weekends that my brother and I would spend sitting down going through and trying to beat Double Dragon 2.
Oh, okay. Double Dragon 2. So family and fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I mean, that also like really helped cement my interest in beat 'em ups and just in action games as well. Because I would eventually go on to start going to the arcades, and that's where I started playing Final Fight and Street Fighter 2.
Man, I remember, and I agree with you on beat 'em ups. Like beat 'em ups was my favorite arcade genre to like drop my quarters in, right? Right along the side of like the vertical top down shooters, right? Like Twin Cobra, Tiger Heli, right? Those games, Raiden, right? But beat 'em ups were like, man, like you pick a character and they all felt different as you beat up everybody while moving right, The biggest, like my favorite one of my favorite ones is still like 3-player AVP is a really good one. Vendetta, the 5-player Vendetta machine, and of course, who can forget the 6-player X-Men machine, right? That's like that is like peak beat 'em up right there experience. But if you're to ask me which game really set me to be a gamer, they're like, hey, video games are awesome. Honestly, my shout out to my like stepbrother, Rojan. His name is Rojan, and he visited my house when I was like 6-7 years old, and he brought over and his Nintendo. He had a few games with him, Mario, but the game that really kind of set me off was Gauntlet, the first Gauntlet game. Really got me going. Yeah, I picked Elf, right? Then I picked Valkyrie. And I was just running around the maze, killing stuff, trying to find the exit. I thought it was super simple, super fun for me. And I do remember when he left, I cried. Like I cried as one, I miss him, and two, it's like, oh, he took the Nintendo away.
That bastard.
Yeah. So my dad, this holiday, it was like I remember Christmas where he got me the Nintendo with the 2 controllers, Mario Brothers. Like the whole set. So it was really good. I don't remember what my first game outside of Super Mario Brothers was. It was that long ago, but I do remember the other notable thing was he made me choose one time on my birthday. You get one thing, either Optimus Prime, the premium toy, where he comes with the truck and everything, right, that you connect him to, or Rampage. and I chose Rampage. Right. So that's why I was like, hey, that's how video games won me over, because I chose video games over toys. So I think that's what I remember. And like I said before on the channel, arcade wise, Final Fight was my breakthrough. This is so cool. And then Street Fighter 2. So I'm a Capcom fan ever since I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, that was like nine or something. Ever since that game came out, but I was all about Final Fight. I was all about Guy. One of my first games on Super Nintendo was Final Fight, and I was upset that Guy wasn't in it. Right, so yeah, it's all those memories that can really just cascade into where I am now. What about you, Thomas?
Well, first off, what's up, Andre? I'm actually recognizing the chat today, so just saying, and apologize to the chat. I'm going to be apologizing for a while because I feel bad about that. Like I should have been like mingling with the people. It's where I'm best. But now, you know what? I think it was already mentioned. Andre even mentioned. And according to the internet terms, I am a great old one. I'm an eldritch entity, a being from interdimensional planes and such. So I remember the Intellivision. I remember ColecoVision. And it's so weird because like you can bring up the Atari easy. Games have always been there. I was born in 1980. I ain't gonna say much more about my information. You don't need to know the rest of my information. It's fine. But
Ancient.
some of y'all too smart. But I was born in 1980, so I was there, man. For me, and I'm gonna go there. This is gonna seem a little generic, and I apologize, a little generic, if you will. But good old Super Mario Brothers 1, first old Goomba, the most lethal killer in all of video game history. And I'm not even joking about that part. It statistically has killed more gamers than anything else, and even Elden Ring. Count up whatever you want.
That they
the very first Goomba. So that's where you first learn. I move right. I touch this thing. I die. But it's also the first time this first time you experience games. We used to. Nowadays, you got these damn kids with their demon souls and Elden Waffle, whatever, playing your Elden Ring, and it's like, in fact, I saw a thing just today about a dude who got his 60-year-old dad to play his very first video game, and the very first video game he played was Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
It's like, but it taught him a lot.
It took him 1,400 hours to beat.
Yeah, but it taught him a lot. And also, I hate to be that type. It's good content. So, because I'm certain there were people who were watching that at the time. And, I'm just saying, his dad went through a whole transformation.
Well, his dad had to be retired because he had a lot of time on his hands.
Well, also, he had to break through the stereotypes that was in his head regarding video games. Yeah. And that's the thing about it.
That's the real win right there.
That's the real final boss.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I did hear about that, and hopefully chat knows what you were talking about. Yeah, this I guess they'll call him a YouTuber. He urges dad to try video games so he can be like, hey, this is so he can understand why we like video games, right?
Yeah.
And he gave him his dad one of the hardest games, even for regular gamers, Dark Souls, and he eventually fell in love with it and beat it after 1,400 hours. So it is obtainable and achievable. And we talk about the grind here and leveling up. That is a prime example of like if you grind hard and you put your mind to it, you will succeed. So. Does she want to play BOS? I can get her Castle Crashers.
He reading from the chat.
Yeah, Castle Crashers is a good one. I just kind of wish like there was more variety between the characters aside from the design, right? Because all they had was like a different element and maybe like a weapon. I can't remember on that one. But hey, man, how come whatever happened to Behemoth and Castle Crashers 2? That'd be kind of nice. Maybe someday.
They still got the Castle Crashers 1 money.
Yeah, it's true. Reprinting it. So
they're doing the Skyrim thing.
But yeah, chat. Happy Video Game Day. Happy National Video Game Day. Celebrated today. So I you know what? I want to see a card in the store now. Happy National Video Game Day. And it's got to have like a PSN card in there or something, or Steam card. So, that'd be fun. A new tradition, right, for like the modern pop culture. That's fun. All right, chat. Well, that is check this out. Appreciate y'all. Where's my? Yeah, let's go. All right, now we're officially here. We did it. We're back. Another week, and another week of This Week in Gaming History. All right. So this is your favorite segment, my favorite segment, and everyone's favorite segment, This Week in Gaming History, where we talk about games that were released years and years ago from Sunday through Saturday. With that said, let's start with the first day. That is July 6th, I believe. And on July 6th, the legendary Pokemon Go came out in 2016. Arguably barely a video game, but hey, what can I say? It was a popular one. It made video gamers leave the house.
We all went outside and touched the grass.
That is a win. Whoever invented this and made gamers active is a genius. That's all I gotta say. And people are still playing. My girlfriend plays it. My girlfriend's friends play it, right? A lot of my other friends still play. They still be hunting Pokemon. They want to travel to see where Pokemon are all across the country. It's kind of wild. So, I don't know. Chat, have you guys played Pokemon Go? I have not. I'm not a big Pokemon person, but I do understand the existence of this thing and how it's important to the industry. So,
right. I haven't played Pokemon Go either, but I mean, just like when the original Pokemon first hit on the Game Boy, Pokemon Go was a huge social phenomenon. I mean, the fact that people actually got outside and started interacting with each other again, like.
Well, I wouldn't call it interacting with each other directly.
No, they did raids. Raids is like was interacting with each other.
Yeah, but all the old people watching, all the young, even the middle-aged and younger is just walking around saying words they don't understand. What's a Zapdos? Why is he? Why get away from my car?
But then there may have also been those, those older folks that were going out, hearing everybody mentioning all of these Pokemon names, and it's like, hey, I watched the cartoon with the kids. I know what you're talking about.
That's true. I do know, like, when you see a bunch of nerds standing on a corner somewhere with backpacks on, with their phones out, you know it's a Pokemon raid or some sort of like stop or some gym, right? It's something. So I just remember seeing that walking outside of the grocery store over here, right? And be like, it's all these guys hanging out on this corner over here. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's right. They're playing Pokemon Go.
Now, I don't mean to get too highfalutin about it, because I was in on Pokemon Go when it first dropped, and I was actually part of like a couple of crews that we'd wander around, we defend gyms, we raid gyms, we would, there was literally a gym right underneath where my bedroom was at the time. So I'd wake up, bam, give me some water stuff, So, yeah, we used to do Baby Girl in the background. She remembers that now. No, but like I said, I don't want to be highfalutin about it, but I still think that Pokemon Go was one of the best examples of future tech. I'm talking about that augmented reality BS that just seems so trite now. There's several other companies, there's several other games that use the augmented reality, tech, but it's just not as good. It hasn't really caught on like Pokemon Go did. Pokemon Go wasn't just wildfire. It wasn't just a lightning in a bottle. It hit. And it hit hard. And I mean, there was, and of course, you got me on the show, so I'm here to bring up controversies and such. One of my favorite things that I always remember was like people were wandering into literal Auschwitz, man, looking for ghost Pokemon. Dudes were walking into cemeteries.
Well, okay, hold on. So I can see why they would believe that, because in the commercials, I do remember seeing this. In the commercials, they had like people virtually walking up a volcano to find a Charizard or something, and so I think people thought like if they visited a haunted cemetery that they get like ghastly there or something, right? So it actually was not true. It's like so random, or whatever the algorithm was or coding that they did to make certain Pokemon come out certain day. Yeah,
they fixed it.
But I just remember like people were like, I gotta go in the ocean for this one. I'm like, no, you don't. Like it's not.
Do not walk off that pier chasing that freaking Gyarados.
Wait a minute. Not but a couple years back, you can still go to not Cherry Point. What is that? There's that ferry terminal in Bellingham. Love that place. And you can still catch water stuff there. I mean, like solely water stuff. And that was only a couple years back. I was looking in on that. So I don't play now, but
I honestly believe like maybe they registered like that location as like waterfront, so they heard water and they're like, oh, there's water Pokemon here, right? Something like that. But anyway, yeah, Pokemon Go. And my question to you guys, I would love to hear how can we take this AR stuff to another game and make it more interesting? I would love like to have a dual disc and my phone.
I was gonna point this out.
Have put some Yu-Gi-Oh cards into my phone here, and then have a hologram or whatever, and then just be dueling in the streets, son. That's what I want to see in the future, right? I want a battle city wherever I go, right?
Now, consider this: Digivices are already a thing, especially Digivices that actually come in a watch form factor. So, who's to say that we can't just straight up incorporate Digimon into AR tech? I mean,
that's what we need. We need wild AI.
That kind of story beat has already existed in the games. So why not just put that shit literally in people's hands?
Because we've also seen what happens if you do, and it's a bad thing. If bad stuff happens.
That's why.
That's the Skynet shit.
But honestly, it's like there's a lot of like data breaches and stuff like that and hacking, right? But at the same time, like I do believe that like the dream, like for example, the Digivice thing, the Yu-Gi-Oh thing, these are the panic buttons for these companies to be like, all right, we're out of money, so we're just gonna throw it all in on this AR like Yu-Gi-Oh battle stadium thing. and make it a thing. So that'd be super cool. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
I know I was just talking about rampant AI and such, but here, let me throw something at you though. Hard light holograms. You were just talking about Yu-Gi-Oh, and they did that in one of the Yu-Gi-Oh. I think not GX. It was after the Turbo Cycles one, and I can tell you, I didn't watch a lot of Zexal. I hated on Zexal, but I'm just saying the idea of hard light holograms was an interesting idea, and I still think holograms combined with our modern day just AR tech that we got on our smartphones should be. Although I would like to see a dual disc. I would love to. I used to have a stupid little thing that I'd put my smartphone in when I was going to do the Pokemon Go. So I'd bring up my wrist, I'd actually flick it out to go do stuff to interact with the. But we have this technology. But the problem is, again, I can also see where it can be used for evil. I'm talking about people looking up and hearing the rapture and seeing Jesus in the clouds, but really it's the Illuminati. Not that I believe in the Illuminati, at least not the way y'all think the Illuminati. But the last thing we want, exactly, Persona SMT. Thank you, Jagos. The last thing we want merge when you get home. I'll merge wherever I want, so long as with consent. So with all involved.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure like there's a team that in those teams that are like, this is probably why we shouldn't do it. Or this is where we can get sued, right?
That's the other thing, is the porn issue as well.
Yeah, there you go.
And
then the last thing you want is somebody blasting pornography using your Digivice, and the company being blamed for that, right?
I'm trying to blast this Blastoise.
Yeah. All right. Other games that come out on the 6th of July. Superstar Soldier.
She won.
On the TurboGrafx 16 in 1990 in Japan. Crackdown 2 on the 360 in 2010. And Gundam Versus on the PlayStation 4 in 2017 in Japan, which was a weird, not part of the Versus Extreme series that the arcades had. It had its own home console version. Really weird if you're if you know what I'm saying if you're a fan of the series. So
yeah.
All right. On the next day, 7/7 released Killer 7. I wonder if that was on purpose.
It had to have been.
I never really realized that till now. On 7/7, they released Killer 7 on the GameCube, PS2, and in 2005. Now, I don't know too much about this game, but I feel like people on this chat, people in this panel know much about this game. It's a Capcom game, first of all. It had to do with assassins, and it was was this a Kamiya game or one of those games? I can't remember.
Actually, yeah.
Right, this was a Platinum game, wasn't it? Or not a Clover?
Well, pre-Platinum.
Pre-Platinum, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, as I know, this one is kind of like a weird. What do you call this? Like a grindhouse kind of cultish following, right? Have you guys played Killer 7 or anything along the series?
It has been a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Yeah, I actually haven't played Killer 7.
Andre says Killer 7 is a giant mind screw game.
Yeah, they're also saying in the chat, Suda51 is the one that busted on that.
Right, that was the one.
But
yeah.
we should be forgiven for that because Suda51 and Kamiya are practically synonymous at this point. So
correct.
You just transfer one to the other. It's fine.
I feel like this game inspired No More Heroes, right? Because in this one, you were killing assassins, and then there were 7 assassins that you had to get through to get to the last one, right? Kill Bill, right? And then in No More Heroes is the same way, right? You had to defeat all the other ranked assassins also to get to the number 1. So I think this was precursor to No More Heroes. So
there's also a psychological aspect to Killer 7 that's what Andre's talking about there.
It was the art. Yeah. The art was really cool. And there was some mind.
It's in the story. I'm not gonna spoil it.
Yeah. Check it out if you can. I don't know if it's digitally available but check it out if you.
It is if you know where to find it.
Anything is digitally available if you try hard enough. So, all right. So the other games that came out this day: Blazing Lasers on TurboGrafx 16 in 1989. I'll get to you in a second. Don't worry. Samurai Showdown in the arcade in 1993 in Japan. Final Fantasy 9 on the PlayStation in 2000 in Japan. Apparently, they had some sort of announcement for. Way of the Samurai 2 on the PS2 in 2004. We Love Katamari, my game of choice for this day on PS2 in 2005. Skullgirls, the second encore on PS4 in 2015. Speaking of indie, that's a good one. And Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series came out basically on everything in 2022 in Japan. So All right, tell us more about Blazing Lasers. Where I find some footage for this thing.
Ace, do you want to go first? Because I see we both want to talk about this.
Oh, no, that's all you, man.
TurboGrafx 16 is one of the most underrated systems in history, first and foremost. You can afford it more than 3DO at the time. I'm just saying. Now, with that stated, Blazing Lasers. Oh my God! The moment you even mentioned that game, I remember the intro song straight into level 1. It's the first and one of the oldest that I can point to of dynamic freaking music. Of where the music, it's not that it changes how you play it in this situation, but rather it follows along where. Hey, yeah, Jago's right. Bonk's Adventure is another good one. But, I'm just saying, Blazing Lasers, the power-ups, the shmup, it's good. Shoot them up. But above all, though, the music. You can still find that on YouTube, by the way. If you want to look around, you can find the Blazing Lasers music. It's there. The soundtrack's there for everyone to listen to. It's great. Yeah, there we go. Your turn, Ace.
So it's a top-down shooter. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
I do remember this. Was this the one with the crazy lasers that like wiggled
Yeah.
around everywhere? Yeah, it is. Like, look at this one.
Multi-body. Yeah.
You see it right there. Yeah. So this. Oh, State Farm. Okay.
We are not sponsored
Go
by
away, Jake.
Nobody likes you, Jake.
Yeah, no, and you know what's funny? You mentioned Superstar Soldier earlier. I had both of these games. I can tell you right now, yeah, nobody's going to talk about Superstar Soldier unless you actually recognize that series. Blazing Lasers, though, if you played these two, this one far and away, the colors, the colors, man, the shooting, the different kinds of stuff. Now, unfortunately, I was a very boring child, so I always just chose the 5-way bullet. I didn't go for the Blazing Lasers. I just went for the spread shot. I think it was that one, number 4, actually. Yeah, that one. That's the one. If you max it out fully, it like shoots in 5 different directions. And I was like, yeah, this is good. I was a very boring child.
Very optimal. Very optimal of you.
I've always been about min-maxing to a certain point, but this
this game kind of reminds me of Dragon Spirit. You guys remember
which one?
Dragon Spirit? Also a top-down shooter like this, but with a dragon.
Oh, I want to say I know that one because this one always reminds me of Legendary Wings, which is that's such a throwaway title. I don't even know if anyone even remembers that one.
That's a Capcom top-down shooter. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Shell Heart.
Yeah.
So TurboGrafx. This look Dragon Spirit.
Oh yeah, I did play that one.
Well, now the really cool thing about Blazing Lasers though is you've played top-down shooters in the arcades, but then the big visual hook, not just the colors and everything, but the fact that you actually have that wider lateral movement, like you're moving side to side and you're seeing like the background shift.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the big draws because it's so different because it's like, oh damn, we're actually flying on a
and they also didn't they have like parallaxing on it? Let's go back. I think they had parallaxing on it.
I'm fairly certain they did.
Yeah. Look at this. This is a beautiful game. It's very colorful. Oh my! There it is. That's the busted weapon.
Yeah. That one was very busted.
Yeah. Look
but
at
it's
that.
not my 5 shooter.
Erases all the things. All right. Well, that's fun. I like that. So, I mean, here's the thing. Will these games ever show up outside of the TurboGrafx, outside of like PC? Like,
I could have sworn somebody doesn't Nintendo currently own the TG16 lineup? They own those games like that.
Probably. Yeah. They probably call it Arcade Archives or something because I know they have some.
I wouldn't be surprised though.
Yeah. But of course, there are other places you can get it if you know where.
Always. That's another episode.
Being a pirate is all that you please.
Yeah. Speaking of pirate, we're talking about Napoleon here in the Civilization Revolution with his tricone hat. On 7/8, Sid Meier's Civilization Revolution had come out on the DS, PS3, and 360. I actually bought this on the PS3, not knowing what Civilization was, but I read about it, and I wanted a change of pace. And for those that don't know, Civilization is a super in-depth, strategic board game where you take over the world through culture, war, or economy, right? But Revolution is actually a streamlined version of Civilization. It's not like a sequel for between 3 and 4. It's its own thing, and it streamlines the process for those that would find Civilization to be too complex, and and kind of what do you call this? Too detail oriented. So if you want to get into Civilization and are intimidated by it, Revolution is a great game to pick up and play because you will jump into it right away. There's a lot of great visuals behind it, and it's not as detailed as the regular streamlined Civilization, but it still has the spirit of said Civilization. And if you if you like this game, you'll love the other one. If you want
Question.
more. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Does Gandhi still have Genghis Khan's personality? They still do the switch. They keep. I don't feel right playing a Civilization game unless Gandhi threatens me. I'm just saying.
So, I play Civ 6, and every time Gandhi befriends me, it's always like it ends up in like hostility in some weird. and I think it's because. So I was looking into this, right? I was like, why does Gandhi always want to fight me, even though like he says he wants to be my bro? And I think what happens is that they code him to like everyone, even the ones that you hate.
Huh.
So what happens? So what happens by default, since he likes a person that you don't like he's now part of the problem.
Yeah.
So that's why he's always threatening you.
He'll view your hostile actions against others, no matter how
Yeah.
proper it is, as hostility against him. Yeah. Oh, that makes so much more sense now. As far as that goes.
Constantly beefing.
Yeah. So but because I was like, what's with Gandhi and so hostile, all the time. So he's actually like cool, but he's friends with everybody, and he's and all your enemies he's friends with also. That's why he's like a spy, and you need to kill him. That's why.
What was it? What was the joke? I ain't got no beef with you. I'm Hindu or something like that. Something like that.
That sounds crazy, but it's funny. Let me find some gameplay on this while I talk about the other. Have you guys played any Civilization, whether it's Revolution or the other streamlines?
Never.
Not your bag.
Same here. But
I just know about Gandhi.
yeah,
It's a chill game. Like honestly, it's super chill. So let's see if I can pull this up here. This guy's playing Island Start Domination. Where'd it go?
hold up.
How did Konami get their hand? Yeah, looking at chat, Jagos brought up a whole nice paragraph here about Konami in 2019 announcing the TurboGrafx 16 Mini.
Yeah, I have that back here. It's the it's kind of like the Super Nintendo Mini, but it's a TurboGrafx.
Yeah, but Konami though.
Well, and like they're the ones that pushed it out, but because like who owns TurboGrafx back then? Was it? I thought it was NEC.
Let me look. Actually, I'm just gonna look this up.
It actually wound up releasing in the States in 2020 from the look of it.
It was really rare. I don't know if you guys. I'm surprised you guys are surprised. Were you guys not aware it came out here?
Konami Konami acquired Hudson Soft, the original developer of the console.
Let me see if I can find it. Give me 1 second.
That's why. Wait, Jagos, I thought they swapped. I thought he got his personality code swapped with Genghis Khan's on accident, and that's what started that.
Yeah, the coding for Gandhi is literally just so pacifist that it went from 0 to negative 255 and looped back around to 255.
That sounds like a problem. That sounds like an actual coding issue. Oh my god!
But that coding issue has made one of the greatest gaming memes in modern.
Yeah, you will regret this as he goes nuclear.
Okay, no, take a look at the gameplay that's up here right now, though. I mean, I can already tell that it looks, very streamlined compared to original Civ, and it looks like it might be something relatively easy for folks to get into.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be the one to say it because I never get invited onto anything unless I'm the bad guy. This looks like it was made for a mobile game.
It's buried in there
somewhere. Don't act like it don't. Look at it. This is made for a mobile game.
Well, this was before mobile games were a thing, but
True.
like this is also was like a console, not exclusive, but it was pretty much designed for consoles. So like I said, streamlined.
So all the fake mobile game ads that I don't even know names right now. I'm not going to name names. We've all seen them. was it Royal Clash or whatever? I don't know. Yeah, you can blame. Then we can literally put the blame at Sid Meier's Civilization Revolution regarding this. Look at this. It is the same thing. Oh my god, I am tripping right now because we just unearthed an artifact here. This is history. What the hell?
And remember,
So
look,
like,
it says they also released it for the DS, so it was probably had skeleton or mobile. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
would this be like you blaming me for that roller coaster back at Six Flags? No, sorry, Disneyland.
Now that's a bit different, though. But yeah. I still blame. That's an historical artifact. That's deep lore for the hooligans right there.
All right, so let's see here. Other games that came out on the 8th. Disney's Beauty and the Beast on the Super Nintendo in 1994. The very obscure Square Enix game, or Enix at the time, Robotrek on the Super Nintendo in 1994 in Japan. Vandal Hearts 2, the sequel to my first PlayStation game in 1999 in Japan. And White Knight Chronicles 2 on the PS3 in 2010 came out in Japan also. That's another game that Sony buried. What the heck? You know, like I haven't heard anything from White Knight Chronicles on the PS4 at all. So interesting.
Funny enough, as I was going through and trying to rebuild my PS3 collection, White Knight Chronicles was one of the games that I picked up, and I got.
Yeah.
And when I picked up 2, of course, just like how it happens later with, just like how Ben at Namco did it later with God Eater. If you pick up White Knight Chronicles 2, it comes with the first game.
Value. I love that. And
Diego's
see,
talking
here,
about- sorry.
no, I'm just saying that's a way to get somebody that's invested in the series, right? Put the first one in there. And the way I see it, if you're playing that game, you're not playing another game, right? So there's more opportunity there for people to like your stuff and also get excited for down the road projects, so stuff like that. What's up, dude?
No, Jago's over here in the chat talking about, so you want to raid? You're going to be a Shadow Legend? And my response is, seek better help. I don't mean to sound so aggressive about that, but come on. Knee-jerk response.
All right. Well, the next game we have here is Legacy of the Wizard on the MSX, but also came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System because I wasn't able to find it in MSX box art. So this is the popular one here. Came out in 1987 in Japan. Now, who here remembers this game on the Nintendo? Because this is actually a very interesting game. One would argue ahead of its time.
Yes, and I never finished it. Because I couldn't understand how you could switch between the family members.
So you and I had the same problem. Got it.
Kind of, yeah. But I remember it fondly, though.
Yeah. Ace, you ever play this game?
I played a little bit of Legacy of the Wizard, and had the same problems. Like, how do you switch?
Yeah, one would argue like this game possibly is like one of the progenitors of like multiple characters that you can go back and play like the same area as different characters and find new things, right? So let me pull up some gameplay here. This is pretty interesting, actually.
But
I love this.
Backtracking in and of itself was already there it is. Yeah, the different family members, each one has their own.
Yeah, you can be the dog.
I forgot about that. Oh yeah, he was like a dragon thing. No, but but when it comes to backtracking, wasn't that like all the rage at the time because of the Metroidvania games? Just saying, because of actual Metroid and not Castlevania, but Metroid especially. The games that they want you to backtrack after getting a certain power.
A lot. There was a lot of it. Like Xanadu had it, right? And honestly, Legend of Zelda.
Blaster Master.
Blaster Master.
Blaster Master. Yeah, we just talked about that last week.
I think there were a lot. If you were really into gaming back in the day, you had to seek out the uniqueness of those games because a majority of the games on these consoles, you weren't even allowed to turn left. Right? Yeah. You always went right. Contra was one of them. You never look back. You just go right. You go up or right. You don't go left. You don't go down. Right. When you go down, you die. Right. So yeah, that's how that works. So games like this that let you fully explore like the quotes the map and let you go back and turn left. That was a big thing for games back then.
Revolutionary.
Yeah. And unlucky for me, I wasn't a smart kid. Because like I was like, all right, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. Right. That was a big thing for me when I was a kid. Like I said, one of my first RPGs that I had to learn from was Ultimate Exodus. Bless my heart. That was a tough one. And I did not know how to play it until somebody that knew how to play RPGs taught me and like kind of educated me on how to play those games. So There was no Goonies 1 though.
There was no
Facts.
Goonies 1.
Also, the
Diego's
fact
losing
that there's a
mind.
game called The Goonies that is hilarious. Oh, no, trap. But yeah, Legacy of the Wizard are arguably an action RPG, right? Of the time, we have multiple characters and you can go back and explore the map again. Like that is something common that we have that we don't really like take in consideration of modern gaming because it's been around for so long. But for a retro title like this in 1987, this is huge.
Yeah.
This is pretty big for its time. So grabbed by
But
the
sadly
Goonies.
enough, we were also too young to even understand that. So
Correct.
it's nice to be able to look back at something like this and be like, oh yeah, hey, I was a little moron.
Yep, and that's why we do this week in gaming history because we do like to reflect, especially about other games that came out this day, like Ephemeral Fantasia. Do you guys remember that game on the PS2?
I want to say yes, but not quite.
Okay. So funny story about Ephemeral Fantasia. When I was working at the local game store, we were also selling games online, pulling orders. And one of the orders that I found was purchased Ephemeral Fantasia. And guess who was buying it? I know you guys, I know it's going to be a hard guess, but I'll just get to the chase. Game Grumps bought it from us.
Oh.
So if you guys ever watch a Game Grumps episode of them playing Ephemeral Fantasia, that was our disc that they were playing. So yeah. On the PS2. Yeah, it literally like, ship 2, it said Game Grumps. It wasn't even a person, it just said Game Grumps. It's pretty interesting.
Okay, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's a good story, right? That's why I had to pull Ephemeral Fantasia out of that list for today. Other notable games that came out: Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec on the PS2 in 2001, the popular DayZ game on PC in 2012, Dota 2 came out officially on the PC in 2013, Metal Gear Solid: The Legacy Collection on the PS3 in 2013, and the Kickstarter. This is a sequel. Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon 2 on the Xbox in 2020 in Japan, and recently Once Human on the PC was released in 2024. Played that game, not bad. But yes, Duder, you have a note here for Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection. Tell us more about it.
Well, no, it's just I definitely want to mention that I am playing Death Stranding 2, which is literally Hideo Kojima's most perfect Metal Gear Solid game. So yeah. It's true though. It's true, dude. I'm about 50% of the way. I'm like episode 8 or 9. Like I said, I've taken over at least 75% of Australia, and I can tell you this right now. This is if Konami never put a trained attack given to choke on Kojima's leash and tell him no, we would have had this game sooner. Yeah, and yes, Andre, I got the pizza time. I have already pizza slammed somebody. No, I will not give context to what I just said. If you don't know, play that.
Pizza. Your order's here.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. It is good. I don't even use the other two abilities. That's like my favorite one. When I get really ticked off at an NPC and I want to show them what's up. Oh, it's squabble time. I don't even leave it to my car anymore. I get out and handle it. But yeah, Metal Gear, love that series though. The problem is I find that so not to put it out there, but I write books. I write a lot of stories. I've done scripts. I've done, all kind of music. And I can tell you this right now, sometimes what I remember of Metal Gear wasn't there, and I interjected it in my head. And it's hard sometimes to figure out, was it the Lalilulelo or was it me? I don't know sometimes.
That's fair.
I was explaining
Or like
stuff.
Lalulule, no. Got him, coach.
Where's the mute James button?
Here, it's right
I
here.
want to say Asian button. GQ Asian, dude, mute the Asian. No, but I'm just saying, and it's just funny because I also in my head connect Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, which is not a real word, to the Metal Gear Solid, even though it shouldn't, and it doesn't. Technically, it's non-canon. But is it really? Come on. Some of the best music is from Revengeance. I'm just saying. But, we've gotten good music. We've gotten good moments. You even got good lines from the Metal Gear series. So it's good to see that the collection, it's still shown love from time to time. And above all, they finally let Kojima just do the game he wanted to do. Except for the 1 week wait time for the 1 week boss battle musical or whatever it is that he was going to do. Sometimes Kojima does need the trained attack given to literally an attack monkey to, just choke his leash. Make certain he's not doing something.
I hear that they're making a collection 2 on the PS5 because they just released the other collection, right? Like the MGS Solid Collection, whatever.
But when will we get the Rising Revengeance?
And Delta's supposed to be coming out in August, right?
Yeah, because they said that when they release a collection 2, it's gonna have MGS4 in it, and because everybody wants MGS4 because it's locked in the PS3, right? So they want to get that back and just and people that have access to it, so they have all the Metal Gear games, which is smart. I think they should do that, and I think they should do that in celebration of the next Metal Gear coming in. Because I even though Snake Eater Delta is like on the top of everyone's list, I think like everybody wants another solid remake.
I don't know. My thing is just I just want when are we gonna get a collection for Rising Revengeance? That's what we need a collection for.
Well, the problem with that is because it's platinum.
It's only one game if it's in your head.
They got to figure out how to deal with that, with how to get that from platinum because they're the ones that made it. And they just got the blessing from Kojima to make it, and Kojima's not there anymore. So, who are they? Who do they have to talk to for that now? You know?
Right?
Because I do want a remaster. Also, you have to consider this: they would have to get the license for all the music again. That's the real problem, right? Because all that music was like licensed, unfortunately. Anyway, on better news, on the 10th of July, Armored Core came out on the PlayStation in 1997 Japan. Luckily for us, we have an Armored Core players in the panel. Yeah, in the panel. And as I note about the other games, I'll go ahead and find gameplay as always. But Shin Megami Tensei Persona 4 also came out on the PS2 in 2008 in Japan, and a really weird, wacky game called Deadly Premonition 2, A Blessing in Disguise, also known as Twin Peaks the game. So, let me tell us a little bit more about Armored Core, guys.
Ace?
Okay, so Armored Core was definitely one of those games that I legitimately did not see coming when I first played the demo on the PlayStation. Because I mean, like the first time I played it, I was chilling with a friend while I was in middle school and going over to his place, and I'm like, what's going on with these robots? And then he started like showing off the different pieces and the different builds. It's like, oh, I could put together my own robot. But literally playing the demo for this, and even just seeing this opening as it's going through the different pieces and everything, there was something about this game and the aesthetic that just got its hooks into me. And next thing I know, Armored Core 6 is coming out, and I'm chomping at the bit to play it. But it was just so unique because, honestly, I'll say this right here and now. As much as I watched Power Rangers when I was younger, I always wanted to have a game where I could control, where I could, pilot the Megazord or something similar.
Yeah, thanks.
And big stompy mechs with thrusters and guns. How could I not? But it wasn't really until Armored Core 2 where I actually started getting into the story, and we could talk about that another time. But like the first Armored Core game, and its 2 expansions, Master of Arena and what was the other one? Project Phantasma. Like all 3 of those titles had taken up they had taken up a good chunk of my game time on the PlayStation over the course of that generation, because I would always wind up getting together with some of my friends on the weekends. We'd sit down, we'd throw in Master of Arena, and MOA, that one actually had all of the parts already unlocked. No, it had all of the parts already unlocked if you had save data from this original. So we'd sit down and we would literally just put together builds and face off against each other in the arena for hours. And there are even some days where we just, okay, let's do an Unga build. Just default build from the start of the game.
That was with me. Yeah. Oh, I know that.
Actually,
I was going to bring up the Unga Bunga missions.
Yeah.
Unga Bunga matches. Yeah. That was me.
You were for the Unga matches too.
Yeah.
But again, just the whole
like the whole aesthetic, and just again the intuitive mechanics. You know, it really caught me because this was also on the same demo disc where I was playing stuff like Battle Arena Toshinden and Jumping Flash. So, you know, definitely more animated, more, you know, more fast-paced games. But then if I wanted to like sit down and really play something deliberate where I was just, you know, heavily armored and really, you know, moving at a deliberate pace as I was landing my shots, as I was launching missiles, as I was going between that and melee combat with the laser blades.
Well, they were very good about the weight of the mechs. That's how it felt.
Exactly.
Like you were moving heavy metal. And that's one thing about the Armored Core series, that they at least kept that. They were always good about that. And even though, you know, From Software is known for other things nowadays, not that I meant that in my pornographic voice. I meant that in like, no, we, you know, blood. Oh my God, wasn't Bloodborne, things of that nature. What's it called? Soulsborne games. You know, Sekiro, Shadows, all that. You know, but no. But this is where they got their start, though, and I love the fact that I still got to get my hands on the most recent Armored Core. What was it, last year, 2 years ago? But yeah, I still got to get my hands on it. But you spoke highly of it, bro, and I always keep that in mind. You know,
I will continue to speak highly of this game. Armored Core 6. All right, I'll just say it right here and now. Hot take. Hot take.
Spicy.
Best FromSoft game since Last Raven.
Oh, I don't have a soundboard. I gotta actually make the noises.
Here you go. I got one for you.
Thank you.
Available for your home in 1995.
Yeah,
I wish.
close enough to 95.
Oh, no, I wish. 1995. Okay, no, let's not get started because I don't want to get into socioeconomic or political talk. That's like a whole thing about video games and the fact that we were lied to and that we are. Yeah. And like Andre said, don't let the Souls fans hear that because But you know, the hooligan's always down to scrap. It doesn't matter. I'll back him up in what he said. You know. Besides,
everyone has their own favorite. Like, I'm surprised no one's ever brought up King's Field. You know, because
I was waiting for someone to bring up King's Field.
Yeah. Arguably, that was the Dark Souls before Dark Souls. Arguably, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Would you say that was the Dark Souls of its time?
It was Dim Souls. Yeah, that's right.
No. Okay, no. Evergrace was Dim Souls.
Evergrace, let's go. Eternal Ring, let's go.
Kingsfield was Bright Souls.
Ooh, man, we're going way,
way back. Kingsfield, then Evergrace, then you get to Dark Souls.
Man. Yeah, see? Go play those games, guys. And then be like, oh, yeah, I remember those days. That's why I didn't play them.
Hey, GQ.
What's up?
If Two Asian For You ever did a review of Dark Souls, would it be Dim Sum Souls? God damn it, I ruined the joke. Never mind.
No, because we wouldn't do a review for it. It'd be no
Two
souls.
Dim Souls For You.
You know, 2 Asians equals no souls anyway.
Oh! Isn't that 2 gingers?
No, it's Asians. That's what they say in the. What was that? Was it South Park also? I think they said it South Park as well. That's why we're like brethren with the redheads.
I'd argue that Asians have plenty of soul. The only problem is that it's usually whenever black people are around.
All right. Anyway, 7-Eleven.
There we go. Oh no!
Today,
Street Fighter. How else did we get Rush Hour?
Street Fighter II Turbo came out on the Super Nintendo. Pre-ordered this game like 2 years before it came out, what I remember. Ooh. Other notable games on this day while we get down on the turbo here. Saga Frontier on the PlayStation in 1997 in Japan. Suikoden 3 on the PS2 in 2002 in Japan. Prey was exclusive on the 360 and the PC in 2006. That is the original one, not the remake. And if you don't like hunting Pokemon, you can hunt ghosts on Yokai Watch on the 3DS in 2013 in Japan. And the not successor, but a homage to the Contra series, Blazing Chrome came out basically on everything in 2019. So if you like Contra, check out Blazing Chrome. All right. My favorite part of the day, let's talk about Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Tell us your stories, guys.
Okay, so Street Fighter 2 Turbo. This, especially the Super NES release, this was the neighborhood garage game.
I didn't own a copy of Street Fighter II Turbo when it first came out, but one of my friends down the street, like literally, at that time I was living in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And at the corner of said cul-de-sac, one of my friends, him and his older brother, they had a Super Nintendo. They literally set it up in the garage, because everyone always liked to park on the street. So they'd set up in the garage. They had a little table. They had the Super NES, the TV, whole bunch of chairs. And after school, I'd finish my homework. I'd watch cartoons. 5 o'clock, the news is coming on. Mom, I'm going down the street. Get back here before the street lights come on.
Oh, yeah.
And from the time I got down to the house to the time the street lights came on, we were sitting in front of that TV with the garage door open, volume all the way up on the TV so the whole cul-de-sac could hear it, and we were playing Street Fighter II Turbo. And the biggest thing about that was the simple fact that now you could actually pick the same character.
Yeah, that's big for back in the day. That was
you could pick Ryu, you could pick Ken. Of course, most people wanted to play Ken because, at the time they thought he was faster, but he wasn't actually faster. But everybody wanted to play Ken, so we had a whole lot of Ken on Ken mirror matches. And then I picked Guile. People got mad.
Why are you turtling, bro? Why are you turtling?
What are you turtling? It's called Charge.
No, that's a strat.
I didn't care what it was. It was just like, okay, go ahead. Try and jump. Flash kick. Next.
Jarvis Mash, wake up.
I love this man's optimal tech on this multiplayer long play. It's pretty funny.
I still want to commission somebody to make a GIF of like playing Street Fighter Online. The moment you get in, the guy suddenly kneels down, and all you see is "God damn it" on the GIF. Just big bold red lines.
What about you, Duder? What did you? What's your experience with Turbo?
Something we were talking about earlier, and for me, believe it or not, I didn't get into fighting games. I mean, really into fighting games until I started hanging around Ace. Believe it or not, I never took time in the lab. I never took time to learn the games. I'll admit, I was a button masher. You know what I mean? I love me some not even E Honda. I love me some Chun-Li, not because of that reason. Although the turkey leg be good, the thighs be good. Come on, but because you can mash the freaking kick. I never learned overheads. I never learned any of the combos that we know nowadays and taking advantage of. Wake up DPs. I never did any of that.
I remember, as far as like what got you more into fighting games. I know you were at the very least, I wouldn't say dipping your toe in the pool, but you were, at the very least on and off playing fighting games, at the arcade at DeVry.
Well, that was
that arcade did have Capcom versus SNK 2 and Guilty Gear.
But I still wouldn't put it that I didn't get quote unquote good, although I still get bodied, but I didn't get at least like good enough to step up and like squabble a little until Guilty Gear X, of course, X, not Guilty Gear 1. We don't talk about that except for Gamble, Avoid. I wonder whatever happened. I had that for the PS2. I don't know what happened to it, but whatever. But Gamble, Avoid, Guilty Gear 1. But Guilty Gear X is where I would always argue that's when I came in and I opened up and started enjoying like fighting games as a thing. But beforehand though, I liked fighting games. Don't even get it twisted. Again, Capcom versus SNK, got that. X-Men versus Street Fighter versus X-Men. Stuff like that. Love me some of that. Behold, Optic Blast. I never played him, but I love playing dudes who fought with him because I loved hearing that noise. I was like, yeah,
it was pretty
Blast. Cool. I hated
or Captain America is like all his moveset was very
Final Justice.
Yeah.
yeah. But I never got into MVC. I never got into Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I was into MVC 1. And I just didn't get it. Wasn't able to feel out MVC 2. I don't know why.
No, it's not your jam.
Or was it 3? The one with She-Hulk.
Well, that's 3. But arguably they were all kind of different in their own. So that's why. Like, for example, some Marvel vs. Capcom players did not like 2 because of the button layout was different. It was too crazy. Too many characters, whatever. So it just really depends. Yeah. Some people hate the X Factor in Marvel 3. So there's one for everybody, right? It's like, So that's kind of how that works. But yeah, my story with Street Fighter 2 Turbo was I was such a Street Fighter fan, and that fighting games was my thing when I was a kid. Right, I'm pretty sure I like rented or played a majority of them from the store. Turbo was like the peak before Super Street Fighter 2 had released. This was all over the arcades, and I wanted it for the house because I wanted to like get good at home. But every time there was an arcade visit, I would always find a turbo machine, find the people playing on there, watch how they were playing, learn to tech from them, and then like duplicate it or whatever. But like part of my childhood was playing like challenging other gamers on the machine and watching them get mad, threatening to beat you up. 'Cause that's part of the fighting game scene. Getting threatened to get beat up because you smoked them so hard in a video game. It's usually how that works.
I got more of that once Killer Instinct came around.
No, it was definitely Street Fighter for the salt inducing. I would see that because of like you can get really salty by like, oh man, he did a 100-hit combo on me. That's messed up, right? So and the fatalities too. I think people get salty about that as well.
I kind of wound up hitting a lot of people with that 80-hit jungle with idle.
Oh yeah, and that's fine. Like because after a while, like the damage just falls off. But what's crazy, guys, before we move on to the next and final day, is that when they had that infinite patched out on Killer Instinct, a representative from Nintendo actually had to go to every machine and update it. There was no patches to install. They had to like update the board to patch that infinite out.
Wow.
They had Idol had an infinite, and also Cinder had an ultimate or infinite as well. And that got patched out because I remember being at the Rainbow roller skating rink in Chicago, and the Killer Instinct 1 machine was out of commission because the Nintendo guy was updating the machine. Super cool. But yeah, this is why you can hear the intro from the thing, because you would always hear it every time.
Available for your home in 1995.
That's Killer Instinct arguably had the sound like presence in the arcade. If you walked into an arcade in the 90s, you would hear Killer Instinct or Full Bore yelling at the top of his lungs. That's exactly what you would hear. Yeah, or his fatality. That thing like busted eardrums because it was so loud, and for a good reason. It was the marketing of the advertisement of the game. Like if you're like, what's that noise? Where's that coming from? And you go over there and you're like, oh, this is some
track modes were a thing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last day of the week on 7/12, we got Octopath Traveler on the Switch coming out in 2018. One of the what is this, like 2.5D kind of pixel remaster kind of games that have been popping up here and there. Big fan of, by the way. I would love to see a Chrono Trigger done this way, or some sort of like Secret of Mana, right? I love the style of this like 3D backgrounds with like 2D pixels. They did this with Star Ocean too, right? I think really good job. And I personally have not played Octopath Traveler, but I heard a lot about it. And then there's like other games that like followed this, like the second one, and also Live a Live was another one. And I'm solely speaking towards the style of the art, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Have you guys played Octopath or games similar to?
No, I haven't. But I oddly enough, in the time that I spent, working with RPG Maker, there were actually a couple of notable creators in the RPG Maker community that were able to recreate the combat system for Octopath Traveler for use for plugins in RPG Maker builds. So I was able to do a little bit of tinkering around with that, as far as just figuring out the ins and outs, and actually figuring out how combat system works, and how different things like how turns are managed, and how your defenses and how your shield gauge actually works. And it's really interesting.
Yeah,
it actually got me wanting to eventually check out Octopath Traveler.
I just really love this like art style and design. Like, I don't mind if they kept doing this like for RPGs, and just like this look of like 3D backgrounds. Like, this is so cool looking, like the diorama looking kind of look to it, with the high end 2D pixels, and there's so much character behind it, right? You don't have to go full like 3D. Like I get it what you're going for here. And I would love to see some remakes and demakes of some older classic games kind of brought to this kind of style. I would love that. I was just telling Ace the other day, like I would love to see a Chrono Cross demake, kind of brought into this kind of style instead of like them making it too fancy, making it more, artistically close to Chrono Trigger. Right? I think that would be super fun. What about you, Duder?
I am currently bitter about Nintendo, so I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
The best thing to do about your ex is to not talk about your ex.
Oh, you got to break up with
especially
Nintendo,
currently.
huh?
Yeah, it's a long, very involved story. I banged Nintendo's mom. No, in all honesty, just know on a professional level, don't want to talk too much about it. It's fine. I got an NDA. I don't want the Mario Mafia to come kneecap any of us. Ace knows what I mean.
The plumber.
Ace. No, we both worked for them at one point in time, and I can tell you this right now. No, they're in decline. I don't mind speaking out in public about this because fuck them. What are they gonna do? Mario Mafia, come see me, come find me. We's in Tacoma, baby. Come find out what's good. In all honesty, though, I do got a couple of bruisers, and I've met a couple of them, and I don't want to. I mean, if I got to beef, I'm gonna beef. But it's I'm gonna be looking like Injustice. Not Injustice. Me looking like Invincible. Me looking like Mark post conquest.
So you mean they got a couple of they got a couple of Goombas, right?
Yeah, but
Exactly.
they're dressed like
Dennis
the Hammer
Hopper
Brothers.
Goombas.
But they got hammers like the Hammer Bros.
I just don't want to mess with no dudes in no trench coats again.
No,
I was about to say,
Dennis Hopper's gonna show up in your house.
I'm talking them big dudes that take up half the elevator each.
I'm just saying.
Or the group
Nintendo
of
has
football
been-
player.
Nintendo's been making some very bad moves the past couple of years, but year especially. And I don't want to get too into it. It's fine. It's just So whenever I hear I gotta watch what I say because I know I'll sound like a bitter asshole.
Well, Octopath's on the PC, right? It doesn't have to be on Switch.
Yeah, but it's also the reason why I don't be watching no new Harry Potter. I don't want to support that hoe.
Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway,
come against Squish. Come find out when I serve that meatloaf. Don't be starving me, Jagos. I got that 2-piece with a biscuit, no Sprite, baby. What's up? I'm not mad at Jagos. I'm just saying, in general, that was a little too intense.
also,
I'm sorry.
Castlevania 2 came out today. With
Got turkey legs.
that's it. Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge on the Game Boy in 1991 in
Ew.
Japan. It's nothing like the one on the Nintendo, from what I remember.
Huh.
I didn't know this one came out. Virtual Fighter 5 Online came out in the arcade in 2006. The arcade, not the console version, the arcade version. So that's interesting. I'm assuming that's the one where you can play other people on the arcades in Japan, which is pretty cool. And it looks like I got a note here from Duder for Dragon Quest Builders 2 on the PS4 and Switch in 2019.
It's funny. I actually played that on Games Pass. James, GQAzndood. I played it on Games Pass, and no, that's a terrible segue. I'm sorry. But I actually played that before I played one. I don't even think I played one, but Dragon Quest Builders 2, bleh. No, that was hella fun. It was a good game. I'm not into Minecraft style games, but I love me some builder games, Once again, I'm Death Stranding 2. I'm out there building roads and relaying down track, I'm out here building Australia. In the wild outback, taming the wallabies and such.
Is it part of Death Stranding like you build stuff?
Not exactly you build stuff, but like you are literally rebuilding roads. And my favorite thing to do is to scout out ahead before I do any mission, rebuild whatever roads I need, and then that way I'm just gliding down on my tricycle or whatever they're called, my tri-bike thing, and it's like
What's crazy is that this game looks like Minecraft with personality.
But it's all Toriyama art. It's all Dragon Quest.
That's the personality part,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's like some people don't like the art style of Minecraft. It's too blatant, it's too bland. This actually has some sort of like personality to it, which is like Dragon Quest. You know.
And it's definitely got the Dragon Quest style story to it. I mean, it's a fun one. It's a fun one. I mean, don't go expecting Shakespeare, but do we ever, when it comes to Toriyama?
No.
Exactly.
I mean, we're talking. We're here for the look, right? Toriyama art is always for the look. It's all.
Well, that's because he only draws one face.
Yeah, that's actually proven. I saw that. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, respect to Toriyama-san.
Hey, R.I.P. Big T.
Rip. All right, folks,
Tori.
that is this week in gaming history. Oh, wrong one. Here we go. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for the teacher to drop some knowledge here with the tech with Blazing Ace. What you got for us? I'm excited to find out what this Final Fight Forever is.
Hmm.
What you got? What you
Waiting for the
got?
jingle.
Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Speaking of Street Fighter,
That's right.
and speaking of Capcom and Final Fight, so for a while on my own Twitch channel, which most of our students in the class have graciously followed me over from. Thank you all, by the way. For a while, I was actually going through finding various builds of fan games built in open source engines like Mugen and Beats of Rage, and I was showcasing them on the channel. So we had ourselves community spotlight days where we would actually find these fan games and these ROM hacks, play them, discuss them, and just have a good time showcasing the talent and the heart that can be found readily and in such lugubrious volumes in the gaming community that it's hard not to bring some of this stuff up. And what I've got here for the class this evening is a prime example of that. Now, referring back to the Twitch channel again, one of the games that I sat down and I played through from start to finish was a fan game that y'all might know called Ultimate Double Dragon. This was literally, two brothers who sat down and basically remade Super Double Dragon, but added different branching paths to it, added more characters. So it's not just Billy and Jimmy, but then you also, it's Billy and Jimmy, and you literally have a style switch mechanic where you can swap between, Double Dragon 2, Super Double Dragon, and even Double Dragon 3 styles. And the mechanics that these guys have been able to actually, blend into the gameplay, it made these games so unique that it was actually tough for me to go back and play like the Super NES originals. Same thing can be said here for this current project that we've got. Go ahead and pull the screen up. That being Fight Forever, which is the same brothers that did Ultimate Double Dragon, actually getting back together and literally rebuilding and remaking Final Fight from the ground up. So, to go ahead and get us started, I'll just cut right to the chase. This is a demo. This is demo, I believe, like 0.3.3. And there are more characters that they plan on adding to this. But to just showcase what's available right now, I'll go ahead and pull up the danger room, pull up the training, so that way I can show everybody off. So of course, look at this man. Look at this slab of beef.
Huh.
Mayor
man.
Earth.
Mayor Earth.
Like Haggar.
Hit it like Haggar, or shout out Fine Game Girls.
But before we actually get into the tech involving the Mayor of Earth, picture a Final Fight game where literally the entire roster of the series is available. So you've got Haggar, you've got Cody, and a few color palettes you might recognize from other games, like, for example, Streetwise.
Noted.
You got your Nike Ninja.
By the way, there you go, James. You got your Cody and guy there.
That's my guy.
bad. Who's Carlos?
Anything this
Who's
man since Final
Carlos?
Fight 2, and he shows up as an NPC in Street Fighter 6.
Who's
Oh!
Carlos?
Who the fuck's Carlos? I don't know this guy.
Carlos fucking Miyamoto.
Final Fight 2, bro.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Final Fight 2,
Oh man! See, I know Maki. I can't forget Maki. We don't forget Maki. Mayor of Earth, Haggar, yeah.
now Mayor of Earth Haggar is, needless to say, something of a different beast compared to the original. But we'll be covering the original for tonight's tech. But this is where things get interesting. Because they're going beyond Final Fight as far as the roster here.
Ooh,
Saturday Night Slam Masters.
yeah.
Scorpio.
Yeah.
Saturday Night Slam Masters. I'm killing it. Oh, the Hado trio.
Did you get all three of them?
Yes.
Wait, really?
What?
How does that work?
How does it work? Kind of like how Ryu works in Marvel vs. Capcom 1, where you can swap between the three forms.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
see, I was gonna make a joke that Akuma was stuck in Asura's Wrath DLC, but how's he get here? He's stuck in Otherworld.
And for the folks that actually decide to download this demo and give it a play, if you beat the game twice,
No way.
Ooh,
unlock Sonic fucking Blast Man.
That's a man franchise that needs to return.
How's that for a deep cut?
That's the
No.
deepest cut.
But tonight's tech, for everybody that's planning on actually, downloading this, which personally, the fans that have beat him up, I hope y'all do. Support Maury Herrera, because this man has been putting in a lot of work.
Let's go.
But if you decide to pick up Haggar, going to the training room is a great way to start, because you'll also get to pick up on some of the other mechanics that were actually added to or on top of the tried and true formula for Final Fight. So you got your walking left and right, but you can also run, which is definitely going to come in handy because you have running attacks. But here's the thing: for your basic maneuvers, you actually have light attacks, which have their own combo strings, and heavy attacks. Haggar being the big beefy bruiser, his combos are short, but still do a good amount of damage and actually allow for setups. But you can also do different combos depending on which order you press your light and your heavy attacks in. And this isn't like combo finish, but this is literally, okay, so basic combo, 1, 2, 3, the Final Fight classic. But if you end it with heavy attack, 1, 2.
Ooh, with wall bounce.
Or if you go light, heavy.
Oh, I like that.
Light, heavy, and that brings you a juggle. Or you got your clothesline if you do light, heavy, light.
Nice.
Like the number of different branching combos is almost reminiscent of Xenogears. But of course, Haggar being the grappler,
Nice.
you also have various grabs that you can do, either jumping or.
Oh, I like that.
If you hit up and light attack after a grab, that's the wall throw, which includes a juggle state. If you do down and light attack, you got that. And also, if you do heavy attack from a grab, you have a further juggle that you can work with. Give me a brief moment. Had to clear something off of the chat.
You noted.
Had to restart the chat from my end.
Uh-oh. I got to reload the page. I'll be back. Yeah,
it looks like we both do. Hooray for technical difficulties. But again, just keeping up with the basic mechanics, but also showcasing some of the other stuff that you can do in this game. Each of the characters also actually have command input special moves. So you can do a 360 with Haggar. You could do a 360 with heavy attack. Ahem. Ahem. There we go.
Nice.
Or if you've got meter, I think it's this way. There we go.
Crazy. That's wild.
Were we just talking about something about this? Yeah, 2 sessions ago when I was involved, we were just talking about beat 'em ups and how advanced should they get. This is some good stuff right here.
Right? All right, you get out of the corner. Come here. Out of the corner. I said out of the corner. Now, with each of the specials that you can do, there's light attack, there's heavy attack, and there's also, like you saw, you've actually got EX special attacks if you use the what they call this, what the developer calls the special trigger button. So it's literally like, it's almost like playing something like Under Night in Birth or Melty Blood, where you've got your two, light and heavy attack, or you got your light and heavy attack, but then you've also got, light, heavy, and special, basically.
Yeah.
You got your Rekkas, kind of like Haggar in Marvel 3.
True.
But then also, once you've got meter, you have supers.
Nice.
Supers, which can also be done from grabs. Oh, wait. There we go.
Oh, man. Memories of Street Fighter 3. Axel's coming over me.
Hyper.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong one. Let's try this again.
Still pretty cool, though. Oh.
Oh.
What was it?
Was that one shot a boss? That'd be great if it did.
Ooh.
Haggar's not done, though.
I'd put money on Haggar, honestly, Jagos. Who would win Geef or Haggar? I'd put money on Haggar. He's got, Zangief's good. Zangief's great, but he's Mike Haggar. Nobody voted for Zangief.
Yeah, but Zangief can take a sword to the chest.
So did Mike Haggar. That's how he went to Einherjar.
Now,
a whole song about this.
For everyone that's actually, getting into this game, that's downloading it, and you want to pick up more than just what I've shown here in class.
Oh my God! Yeah,
there's a move list. That's crazy.
They got your move list built in. Got different combos. You got your super arts, of course, and then attack chains, special moves, hyper combos. The grabs that I did. This is my ring.
Let me show you the ring.
Because yeah. Oh, one of the most recent stages that was added to the demo is, you finish fighting your way through the club, you bust down the door, head into the next room, and then it goes into a cutscene where you turn around and fucking Andor Senior runs up from behind you, cold cocks you, knocks you through the door and into the ring where you literally have to fight the entire Andor Foundation.
Oh, so it's an homage to Final Fight scene.
Nice.
It is silly in the best of ways. It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, if you are looking to get into the big bruiser and want to see the potential of what, if if you were looking at seeing the potential of what fans can actually do when they are looking to revitalize a franchise that they love and have grown up with, and also if you just want to support a really cool fan creator as he finishes building this game, then definitely give Fight Forever a shot. And before I end this, give me a brief moment because there is actually one YouTube video that I want to link for everybody in the chat. Let me go ahead and pull that up from my YouTube history. Because what I want to show off is the next couple of characters that are going to be arriving in Project Fight Forever.
Updates.
I will post this here in the private chat, so that way, GQ, you could go ahead and pull it and post it in the restream chat.
Lizzie. Share.
Thankfully, I don't have access to the restream chat. Otherwise, I'd be typing in all caps all the damn time.
Actually, you know what? I will go ahead and pull this screen down, so that way, once you pull up the link, you can put it up here so we can actually all watch it together. Because this is one of those things where we need to watch this together.
Did you bring enough for the whole class?
Yes, I did.
Good.
Is this what Haggar's watching? That's funny.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead. Turn it up if you can.
You guys hear it? I don't think I have the audio on this.
It should. Because yeah, you should be hearing music here.
Give me one second. I could probably get it.
Yeah, like I said, like literally, if I could have, I would have gone into the AV room, brought out the TV with the VCR, on the rack.
Can you guys hear it now?
I can hear it.
They're using the font from ABP. It is. I know, but God bless Muckles.
Haggar has.
Here comes Haggar with tall dread.
Man, do you remember when Capcom had storylines?
No, too long ago.
There you are.
In Predator. And then Dr. Wily shows up.
Now, believe it or not, there's actually a whole backstory. Literally, there's some stuff that happened. That he said it was story. Once he killed the dragon, then he was next.
I'm assuming Chun-Li is the next character.
Yeah,
Chun-Li and Nash.
Good assumption.
That's the Marvel art.
Wait, isn't that the Alpha? Isn't that our Alpha costume? Yeah.
That's the Marvel versus Capcom art, though, that they're using.
Yeah, they're X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Yeah, X-Men versus Street Fighter. Nash getting shot in the back.
I feel for Nash because every one of his storylines, he's just shot. He's just shot
I
in
don't
the
know
back.
how they
He has
disrespect.
to die. Yeah. In every timeline, he dies. This is
I
crazy.
love the art here, just the clashing art styles. It's beautiful. I love this joke.
I feel like I'm watching something out of Aqua Teen.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Yeah, I pulled that voice out of nowhere.
Is that a Meatwad voice?
Actually, I think that was Frylock, but either way, you hear stuff. I know it's like kind of open right now that apparently Adult Swim.
Oh
didn't pay
no,
them
it's their
anything.
Super Nintendo Alpha Sprite. Oh boy. You got dashes, air dashes. That's cool.
I love how most of the mooks in a Capcom game looks like they can be like completely interchanged with like this is the North Star mook for no reason. Like they would just fit,
They got it from somewhere.
Yeah. I know I said it wrong. I don't care.
Nice.
Damn.
Yeah, just check out some of the absolutely wild shit people. Not just with her, but also a little bit later in this little combat trailer, you'll also get to see.
I don't see a whirlwind kick yet.
We need the million kicks.
Yeah, lightning legs.
Thank you. That's what they're called. Actually, no, lightning kicks. There it is.
You were saying.
I don't.
Now he's spinning bird kick.
Air fireball. What? Busted.
Oh hey.
Overhead. There we go. That's one.
Yeah. Damn.
Right.
Cool. Will she have her death kick from Marvel though? There you go.
Oh, there you go. You requested it. Oh, hey, cool. Hyper.
And then a multi-character like Ryu Kenenaka.
Ah.
That's kind of cool, actually. Like the fact that you have two characters in one, and multi-character.
I do like the concept of the variety that gives you.
And this
That
is
is-
the most respect that I have seen anyone put on Nash
Yeah.
since Alpha 2.
Man, man, why you gotta do that? That's
Activated all my bad memories from Street Fighter 3.
He's the best character in the game.
He taught Guile how to do the flash kick,
Nash got powers.
His power is swag. Pure swag.
Yeah, it's because of that hair. You got that Kioske hair. Slug boom! Slug blade!
But then it gets weird.
Oh, the shadow versions.
Ooh.
Yep.
Shadow Man, Shadow Lady.
And now for some more advanced stuff.
I was wondering if you could tag on to a combo. That answered my question.
And you can actually, like, with Ryuken and Akuma, you can actually, like, swap between them and make a combo.
Damn.
Now look, someone did that to me.
We're reaching in Mugen territory now. He's already dead.
That's why I said.
What was that old saying we used to say about you, Ace? Stop playing with the corpse, let him drop.
No.
No.
He just quoted Raydol Infinite earlier. You think he's gonna let that happen?
Let the corpse drop. He's already dead.
I remember we were talking about our combos too long in fighting games.
No, and I'm a Chips Enough player, so no, it's not. My only issue, there was one game. I don't know what I was tripping on that day, but I only used the one kick from Chips Enough. It was the drill kick into low kick, launch him in the air, and then you follow up with all 3 jumps, kicking, just light kick the whole way. And I started singing shit like, "I'm gonna kick you from your head to your toes."
Wait a minute.
Oh my god!
Hold on, he's not dead.
That last one. Spit on his face and get your $50, I guess.
I expect a Urine to be released and him to have a gun.
Oh, he'll probably have him do something like that.
One thing that this dev could add is a hit counter.
Oh, that would be so badass. If you're able to achieve combos like this, I mean, in the game, not in tutorial, then yeah, a hit counter would be great.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a quick look at them actually, in action outside the trick.
No, not 2P.
Let's reach back to the last session I was on here, and let's go back to that question you asked about what do you want to see out of a beat 'em up. You know what I would like to see out of a beat 'em up outside of this, because that's obviously the answer is this. But I'd like more environmental stuff, like from a Yakuza game. You know what I mean? Can you imagine?
Yeah, like interactivity with the backgrounds.
Yeah. I want to smash some dude's head into a car door.
Yeah, that's next level though, especially for 2D. That's like, like the.
I think it'd be done.
I mean, look at that like barrel right there, right? Like, it has to be its own model.
And this is what I was talking about with the Andor Foundation.
Oh god, my Street Fighter 3 freaking PTSD. I don't even mean that in a bad way, but yeah. Memories.
What do you mean your Street Fighter 3 TSD?
You go.
Parrying Oro Super.
Oh yeah, I remember that night. Still whoop my ass though.
This guy needs to be in a Street Fighter game.
Dude, Jake, not Jake. What is it? Is his name Jake?
It's Damned in Japan and Thrasher in America. Thrasher.
Whoop his ass!
Got him!
So this is what he's been doing. The developer, I mean.
Just doing combos all day.
Yep. Someone's got to QA the game.
Yeah, there you go.
Damn. That was cool.
Literally is fight forever.
There's a TNT bit at the end though. I guess he always likes to put in post-credit stuff for.
What is that?
What the heck?
Bug.
Big mode.
Kind of taking shots at another fan project.
What?
LNS.
What's LNS?
That's actually in reference to another Final Fight character like that there. Final Fight.
Cool. That's pretty
It
sweet.
is like Haggar. Oh my
Open
god.
openborgx at wordpress.com. Check it out, guys.
All right.
Tell them we sent ya.
You got it from the class.
That's cool. I like that roster reveal. But Sonic Blast Man though. Can't beat Sonic Blast Man. All right.
And well, that's the tech/community spotlight.
Wasn't there? I feel like there was another game like that, or project like this, but it was with the Marvel beat 'em ups. Matt McMuscles had played it, and I was like, "Oh man, there's a lot of options here."
Well, let's see. I know, like, there was actually a Brazilian Mugen dev that's actually doing beat 'em ups, basically remaking Captain America and the Avengers, and he also did one for Justice League Task Force.
There was the one he was playing was like a play on the Marvel The Infinite Gems one on the Super Nintendo, and it was like there was like 80 characters. He used they used sprites from like Children of not Children of Adam, but Mutant Apocalypse, right? And they made custom sprites from like what do you call that? Like Maximum Carnage. So it was super cool. So that's really cool, man. Like it's good to see because Max is doing MVCIB. So fans are resurrecting games that that they love and is keeping it alive. And I'm honestly glad that like Capcom is like staying away from like, hey, stop that. Like they're actually like promoting it. I love that.
For now.
Yeah, well, it's always for now until some like new guy steps in and is like, hey, I didn't know about this. What's going on here? It's usually how that works.
Right. Evil never dies, as it is said.
That is the tech. All right, we bringing a new segment for tonight. Nothing big, but we're gonna call this the Round Table, not Knights of the Round, but the Round Table. Not everybody's here, but there's plenty for everybody. We're gonna talk about and discuss. Oh, my camera is frozen. Huh, when did that happen?
Okay, no, I didn't want to say nothing. There you go.
We're gonna discuss the what do you call this? The question. I'll get my camera up here in a second. The question of, is Game Pass a good deal for the industry? Because we were talking about this not that long ago, and there was an article that popped up in the Discord. Thanks to chat, thanks to Jagos, Andre for bringing this up to my attention, and some developers were talking about how it is cannibalizing sales for them. And so I'm thinking, hey, but Game Pass is such a good deal for the consumer. You can play all these games for one price, but at the same time, if this continues to happen, will we have more games in the future if it's cannibalizing sales? So I kind of wanted to hear everyone's thought on this and kind of get their own, maybe like 2-3 minutes on it and see what you guys think. And I would like to hear chat as well. Chime in on what they think is Game Pass a good deal for the industry.
I'm going to literally start barking. Just
Wu-Tang.
No, seriously though, I'm sorry guys. I'm very energetic about this. Can I jump on this? Can I just get in? Can I get in this? Ace, can I vanguard this?
Go for it.
Teacher, GQ, Sensei, can I jump on this?
You're already in there.
Thank God. Okay, so here's something. If something's been around for years, and I do mean years, and some mega corpo fuckhead tells you, oh, we're losing money from this, they're lying to you. They are lying to you. The Games Pass style of subscription modeling makes money, whether it be it drives attention to other games, whether it be the DLC, especially the DLC. People will play. Not I don't do this though. I gotta point this out because I'm broke. But I do gotta point out. I understand and I've seen people will play the base game. They will go and get the DLC, and they'll do it on the system. You know what I mean? And it just makes me lose my mind when I see something like this. Like I read that. I actually have it up right now. I was reading this article and I'm like, oh my God, I would headbutt this guy in an alleyway. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Like, it's nuts. It is absolutely nuts. Whenever somebody's saying something like this, they are trying to con you. They're trying to sell you something. The Games Pass model, the subscription model, is what we were promised. And all the crap we go through today as gamers, the heyday of piecemealing day one DLC bullshit, the COD swaddle they want us to choke down, we have something like this. Okay, Andre. Okay. No. In all honesty, though, I welcome that. I welcome that. In all honesty, though, some of the best games that I've had that I've played that I did not buy was from there, and that I've considered buying or have bought because I bought it from Games Pass, from Platinum, from PlayStation Plus, whatever have you. You know what I mean? The fact that you can spend money on just a little bit of money and just rent all these games is a good thing, and for once, it is honest. They're not trying to say you don't own the games you purchase. No, you are honestly renting access to these games. It's honest and it's good in my opinion. So whenever I hear somebody start talking about this shit about, again, Games Pass is breaking this, no, it's not. If it would have done that, what, 5 years ago or when it came out? All we've seen are games that, now we have also seen more exclusives. From at least what I've seen are more exclusives. Like, you get day one drops on Games Pass. And at the time I had Games Pass. I didn't recently with Starfield. I thank God I didn't when I was Starfield. But, I was aware of the fact that they got a day one drop on that there are dudes that were playing that day one Xbox Games Pass. You know what I mean? And that's the way it should be. Jacobs does have a good point there, though. Yes, that's something I was going to point out myself. Yeah, Steam sale is cheaper than Game Pass. However, Steam sales don't happen all the time. Now, you get a certain set of games that you can play, and there were a certain set of games I was playing on Games Pass. I'd still be playing Slay the Spire right now on Platinum on PlayStation Plus, except for the fact that I'm addicted to that game, and I got Balatro, and now I'm addicted to that game. But that's not here nor there. Well, no, that's just
regarding Games Pass.
What was that?
I got to jump in just really quick regarding Games Pass. You're absolutely right in that it's honest. It's upfront. It's you're purchasing access to rent these games, and there's a pretty nice sized library. It's basically like digital Blockbuster, and in a rare recent Microsoft W, they're not trying to sugarcoat it. The problem is that how honest or how comparatively honest Games Pass is. That's like that you could say is what's doing damage to the industry, because the monetization isn't so excessive.
With the monetization not being excessive, here's the thing about it. That's a good thing. That is a great thing. Something that GQ mentioned earlier.
For consumers.
Exact quality for consumers, though. That's the thing. You must. And now, I'm not going to put out too much out there, but I am, currently in school about marketing and business and such. And I can tell you this right now. That is something that they stress in those courses, is that there is a drop-off point between giving to the consumer and how much can you make for the company. There has to be a balance, because ultimately market forces will shut you down. It will fuck you up. The people have the say, and with their money. Now, in some cases, and there's plenty of examples of where it doesn't matter what the people say. It doesn't even matter what our dollars say, especially when it crosses into politics, which I won't go into, but suffice to say, there's a huge list out there of this kind of thing. However, when it comes to the base market forces, our dollars mean everything. Our time means everything. That's the reason why gacha games are doing as well as they do. You know what I mean? Because, they'll sometimes, or even skins in Fortnite or Marvel Rivals, whatever have you. Ultimately, it's your time and your money that they want and they need. And if they don't present a good product, they're not going to get it. That's the reason why things like Games Pass, people will play that. They will then make money off of it, whether it be DLC or they buy the games because they would rather own it. There's all kinds of reasons why, or people who are just broke and just want to pay one set price and play have access to 100 different games. Now, there is also the con in all this. It just now dawned on me, and I should honestly point it out. Have you ever logged into your game system and said, damn, I don't want to play nothing y'all brought up? PlayStation Plus did that to me recently.
I was going to say PSN Plus does.
There you go. I was like, what? What's all this old shit they got up here, man? Where's the new shit? Y'all got Armored Core 1 through 6. It's cool. It's okay, but I played that with
that's because
they
recently PlayStation did a different tier for PSN Plus.
Oh, I
Like
saw that
you have,
episode of Black Mirror.
yeah. So like the standard one, which I have, I just use it to play games with my friends, right? But you get the 2 free games per month. And I
Yeah.
think recently they just cut off PS4, so you're now only going to be getting PS5 titles now, so which is good.
Yeah.
But to get the full access, you have to pay like $100 a month to get the classic PS1 library. Like it's like their version of Game Pass, but they want you to pay the most biggest version
Yeah.
of game PSN Plus.
Like I said,
So.
I saw that episode of Black Mirror. It didn't end well.
So here's what's interesting. So as we discussed this, I was wondering how do developers make money from Games Pass, right? Because we're talking about cannibalizing games. So if y'all don't know how it works, I'll real quick I'll tell you how it works. So Microsoft often pays developers a lump sum upfront to bring their games to Game Pass. Think of it like a licensing fee. We'll pay you X amount of dollars to have your game on Game Pass for X amount of months, right? So this can help cover dev costs, guarantee revenue even before they see any additional sales. So in a way that's kind of exciting because it's like, what's the minimum that we want to make money on this game? We'll make a deal with Microsoft for that, right? So that's like a positive there, in my opinion. In some cases, Microsoft offers revenue sharing based on how many people engage with the game. Devs might earn extra if players spend a lot of time in the game, hours played, achievements earned. So all that's tracked depending on on the game. Similar how the music and artists get paid per stream, but adapted for gaming. So that's kind of cool. Like we don't know which ones, but this is like what they're doing. Now, the thing is that even if the direct payout isn't huge, being on Games Pass can dramatically boost the game's visibility, leading to increased DLC sales. Players often buy expansions, even if the base game is free. Higher sales on other platforms or physical copies, right? Or merch, in-game cosmetics, and other stuff like that. So DLC primarily. Now, the other thing too was the long tail monetization. How does that work? Well, especially for live service games or ongoing games, Game Pass can expand the player base pretty quick. So, which means more players, more microtransactions, more cosmetics. So it's just good exposure. Like it's just a marketing thing for your game, right? For example, Sea of Thieves or Forza Horizon both grew big communities thanks to Game Pass because people didn't want to pay the entry point for those games, but now they're playing it on Game Pass. And they were like, oh, yeah, this is great. Now I'm going to buy more stuff for my character.
Yeah.
So is it always good? No, not always. Some devs, like the one we're talking about right now, it can undercut traditional sales or condition players to expect everything's included, right? But I think that's a communication issue. But for a lot of indie devs and smaller studios, the upfront payment and exposure are a huge safety net that they wouldn't get otherwise. So I think it's coming from a place of like, where do you stand on this situation? For you as the dev of your game, is it viable for me to be on Game Pass or not? If my game doesn't have DLC, how much I can't, do I make money? Or what do you call this? Is my my expectation or my projection for my game is to sell this much, right? From our data, whatever. And then Game Pass goes, well, if you make a deal with us, I guarantee you this much. But it's not going to be your projection. So does that dev take that risk, that deal, to take that minimum and risk not future sales, or do they risk 100% going their own way without Game Pass, without the the marketing power of Game Pass? So it's like really just depends on your developer on your game. It's a game to game basis, honestly. So that's what I got out of it. It's pretty good.
We've all three of us, in fact, I dare say everyone involved here with the chat as well, we've all had our hands in retail at one point in time. Yeah. And I'm just saying the upsell is real. The upsell, and it's not always a good thing, but in this case with Games Pass, I'd argue that it is. The fact that they do get access to that, and then from there on, they can then follow more of that person's, not just their merch, but any other games they put out. But let's say they are a small dev team, one game off, right? They still have more access to marketing and power. That's the thing about it. Power to grow, to get it out there. I
agree with that.
Because now
you've got financial breathing room. You've got leeway.
Yeah. And you got guaranteed fundage. Now, also, I just want to say also, Diego, so I understand what Diego's meant earlier. He mentioned about they shut down the studio that made Hi-Fi Rush. I speak about market forces, and so does the courses that I've been taking. But I got to point out, the courses that I've been taking don't inexactly reflect completely 100% what's actually happening. Because again, politics are involved, people are involved, marketing is involved. But in this situation, though, again, Games Pass is a genuinely good thing. I can see where some would be hesitant about it. I can even understand where some does. But this is one of those things where, as a developer, you have to consider these aspects. Because you might say, no, we're not going to make that much money with it. I'd rather just launch it on Steam and whatever else. But you're also leaving not just money on the table, but again, the marketing. You know what I mean? You get on there and you get guaranteed views, you get guaranteed, guaranteed marketing at least, and above all, you get connected to a powerhouse. Now, it's easy for me to say from this, I'm not a developer, not fully at least. I have about half of a foot in that universe, though. I'm part of the industry at least a little, so I'm certain all of us who are this as hardcore of a gamers as we are, we've seen this and we've seen it happen. So I don't know. Whenever someone talks this much crap about something like Games Pass, for instance, again, if somebody tells you something like this, they're trying to sell you something. He just doesn't want to go. He just want to go in that.
Well, yeah, I mean, like a developer kind of complained about it. I would say that they themselves had a bad experience with Game Pass, or they're getting greedy, right? We're talking about Arkane Studios here, right? Isn't Arkane like Dishonored?
Yeah.
Are they Dishonored?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, Bethesda was their publisher, but Arkane is the developer, and they're also making the new Blade game, I think.
Ooh.
So, and honestly, I think it just really depends where you're standing. Like what Jago said, if your game's on Game Pass, no one knows about your game. It's going to get featured in Game Pass as the first day one release, right? For those casuals that don't do research on games, like majority of gamers do. They don't sit there and go, "What's coming out next week?" They just go, "What's on my Game Pass? Oh, cool, I'll check this out." Right? Oh, they love it or hate it. Simple as that. If they love it, stuff like this will happen where they're like, "Okay, well, I want a physical copy of this game. Let's just buy it." Yeah. Right? Because I want it forever. I don't want it just to be on Game Pass, because they know Game Pass rotates like Netflix shows and movies. So I think that's a good thing, in my opinion. It's a very consumer-friendly thing. I think it's such a great deal. For devs to argue that, it cannibalizes and it's not sustainable, I think they're asking way too much. And I think, personally, for Arkane specifically, I would say that they may consider looking at their Dishonored sales. And also, what was the last game they made? Deathloop? No, was it Deathloop? Like,
was it Deathloop or Redfall? Because I know Jago just mentioned Redfall.
Redfall. That's right. Oh my gosh, yeah. So
maybe they should learn how to make a good game.
And that's what I'm saying. It really depends on who's saying these responses, because their experience with it's different, right? Like for example, Skyfall. They seem to have great success with it, right? But they made a good game, but they did no marketing. And I've heard that most companies, they spend more money on marketing than they do on dev costs, because it guarantees more sales, the initial purchase of a game, right? So that's what Game Pass is. It's pretty much free marketing for you, because it's on a platform that everybody is familiar with, right? And it's served up on a platter, kind of like if your videos were featured on the front page of YouTube, you get many more clicks and views, right? So same thing with Game Pass. If your game shows up in front of Game Pass and it's brand new, check this out, right? You're going to get more downloads. You're going to get more exposure. I think that's well worth the investment.
Something else you said earlier. Sorry, something else just to jump off real quick. Like you said earlier, exclusive day one, which is guaranteed all kinds of goodness. And then when it lapses, you can go everywhere. Because there is a time limit, right, to the exclusivity.
It's part of their deal. It's kind of like, like I said, you pay us this much, we'll give it to you for a year or something, right?
I think most of us around here in this podcast remember back when exclusive meant exclusive. You were stuck to one console, and we'd have to wait 2 generations before, like literally 20 years before you see it on another system. You know what I mean? So for that, I mean, you're getting so many pros to that. But like Jago's, like you just highlighted, which thank you for that. I was actually going to request that be highlighted because it's true. It's Microsoft, so it does color the experience.
and I think that's where they're coming from, because the guy from Arkane did mention that Microsoft has infinite money, and it's like, when I hear that, I hear like you're jealous, But at the same time, it's like I feel that person also thinks very highly. Maybe he's just like, he's just kind of gassing himself up and gassing the audience that they think their games are really like setting off the industry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you should buy from us and not play it on Games Pass, right? Kind of like that. That's what he's hinting at. But bro, you have to understand some of these guys don't even know your games exist. The people that are on Games Pass, right? So having them giving access to that, it benefits you. So
Yeah.
that's my take on it. I think it's a positive thing. So I don't know. I think Duder, you said it was a positive thing, right?
Well, I'm definitely, even though, because I know I scream a lot, I just yell a lot. And yeah, no, it's definitely positive.
And Ace, you agree it's a positive thing?
Yeah, I do agree with that. That's a positive. Again, just at its core, Games Pass is a at its core, Games Pass is basically like the next evolution of GameFly and stuff like Blockbuster.
Yes, sir. I agree. 100%. If Blockbuster and GameFly made their own platform, they would still be around these days.
And again, it's the simple fact that Games Pass is upfront about the fact that this is renting access to these games.
But I love it. It's access to a whole grip of games. Even during the times where you take one look at the thing and say, I don't want to play any of these. But you know what? It's like back when we had cable. 500 channels and ain't a single goddamn thing to watch. But you know what? You got 500 channels.
Exactly.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And here's the thing, too. They rotate games out. That's why it's keeping around, right? So, and I think Games Pass is definitely more aggressive than PSN Plus. I don't even... Like the 2 games that you get per month for PSN Plus, I'm just like, oh, that's nice. I'll just add it to the library, right? But I don't really buy. I don't spend my $60 now just for that. I use it for just to play games online.
So. Admittedly, now I think I have premium. Hey, baby, do we got premium? PlayStation, whatever. We got the good ones. Where I got 3 games a month. But honestly,
okay, fancy pants. All right.
I know. I haven't even really been like that. Like, what's up?
Speaking of games per month, this month is going to have at least one game you might want to pick up.
What's up?
KOF 15.
Ooh, okay, there we go. But I just got my hands on Warhammer Bolt Gun and Balatro.
Yeah,
I don't know what the third game was, but yeah, Bolt Gun. I ripped through that, rip and tear until it is done, and I did so in the name of the Emperor. We out here, not even like just killing. We straight angry Marines out here doing the work of the Lord, okay? The Emperor put us out there to be Space Marines. And then I played Balatro, and I had to stop playing Balatro. I had to get rid of it because, like Slay the Spire, it's just, I got things I got to get done.
It's drugs.
I got things to do. No, it's addictive.
Yeah, it's drugs.
It's drugs. Good point. That's what you said. I'm like, no, it's... Ugh.
All right, where's this one from, Ace?
Well, I got the picture.
I know that one.
All right. I understand that one. I got the picture.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like the council is unanimous. Games Pass is a positive thing for the industry. Homie from Arkane, y'all got to make better games, man. That's why your studio closed down. Unnecessary flagrancy there. But it's coming from a place of hurt. I can tell.
It's because he's French.
But yeah, stop. But yeah, it's value city for gamers out there, and value for those that have no marketing budget to guarantee sales, and also for people to get exposed to your game. So it's a win-win for both. Okay, awesome. All right, we're looming near the end here, so give us an update, guys. What are y'all playing? Same from last one? So same from last time?
Nope.
Well, this week, like I mentioned earlier, I've been going hip deep back into Warframe again. Actually, tomorrow when I jump on stream, there is going to be a build that I want to show off on Warframe that I found from I was posted on YouTube 5 months back. Absolute insanity. But aside from that, I've been jumping into Title Update 2 with Monster Hunter Wilds. Man, these fights with Regios and Lagiacrus are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I dove on over the weekend with that. And what was his name? Seragios?
Mm-hmm.
Bruh. It's to me, Seragios is like trying to hold an angry chihuahua in place.
Exactly.
Just calm down. Just calm down. It's really fun. It's really fun.
Reggie is just angry.
Yeah. Reggie's pretty upset. Lagiacrus or Lagiacrus is what they call him in the game. And I was like, what the heck? What did they? I was like, because I called him Lagiacrus forever, right? Really cool fight. It never realized that when it attacks you, it feels like you're getting hit by a lightning bolt. So because it just streaks really quick at you. So I thought that was super cool. But yeah, I can't wait for more updates. Like those are 2 great additions. My only beef with that is they're not on the calendar for very long, right? Like, so they disappear pretty quick. And I was like trying to like download their investigations so I could fight them again. Man, I was just like, all right, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go play something else. So, but I guess that's how they're kind of like making you come back and play. Okay, totally get it. Super cool. But you, Duder?
Oh Lord, I have like 5,000 unplayed Steam games. You know, it's funny that Jacob was mentioning that earlier about Steam. Yeah, I play that game where I get stuff from Humble Bundle or Steam or GOG, and then I don't play anything because I'm busy with other things. No, I'm always, I have Cyberpunk 2077 in the background. Just always, not that I even played it exactly, but I'm waiting on the drop. Everybody knows the 2.3 drop's gonna be coming soon. We're getting more. And this is a game that's been out for 5 years, and CDPR is still dropping new stuff for the game. It's good. It's good. And Edge Runners 2, we just got the Edge Runners 2 announcement recently. So prepare to have your heart broken and your soul so obliterated over that.
So crushed.
They're just gonna. Oh, poor Rebecca. We all. Everyone knows. What spoiler?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Our waifu.
So it says here you're playing Tainted Grail also.
Actually, yeah, I played a little bit of it. Baby girl's got this new thing. We're getting infusions for her meds and such. And while we were there, I'm like, well, I just got my hands on Tainted Grail, so let's do it. And oh my God, that intro was wonderful. Like, this is literally Skyrim done by like 10 Polish dudes in a cave with a box of scraps. It's pretty fucking sweet. And the artwork is dark as hell.
Love
like,
it.
when the cutscene hit, I was like, oh, some H.R. Giger shit going on. Just
well, you know, they, I think they also made, I don't know if that has any relation to it. There's a strategy game called Tainted
Conquest.
Grail. Yeah. Is that same guys?
I got that for $4 too. So
is it the same? Is it the same devs? The third game?
It's the same people, but it's a card battle game type.
Yeah, but
this is a Skyrim type.
Grail is their universe.
Yeah, I mean it's the same universe, but I think they have a few character tie-ins, and that's about it.
Okay.
But Persona 3 Reload is one that I still have to finish. That I swore to my wife I would, but baby girl knows I have problems with playing a game that many other people have trodden upon, and like you can go through a walkthrough and know the optimal way of playing this game. And it kind of takes it away from me. But at the same time, I still play it because I want to beat it. Same thing with Baldur's Gate 3 Honor Mode. So last time you had me on here, I lost my fucking mind about Baldur's Gate 3. It told me 50 hours. So I decided to get back at it, that I would go and beat Honor Mode and get my golden dice. Because fuck you. I'm stealing from everybody. I'm killing everything. But then I got my hands on Death Stranding too, and now I've been assaulting animals. So there's no way to put it in the game. Yes, there's no way to put it, dude. They're like, use the tranquilizer and take them down gently. I'm like, no, asshole. I literally run these things down like a persistence hunter. Take them down like it's a BDSM roleplay, and fucking put them in a box like also like it's a BDSM roleplay. And I'm just saying. If you actually look at my, because you know when you capture animals in Death Stranding 2, you can take them to the animal shelter and they got a little range where they run around free and shit. I don't care. I've traced after them when I first got it. I chased after them because I didn't realize I had already captured them. I'm like, oh my God, there it is! So running after them, they're running away, and I realized, why can't I take them down? I'm like tranking one over and over again. I'm like, why can't I take it in? And I'm like, oh God, wait a minute, that's my name over it. Oh my God, I already took this one in. So yeah. So now, just whenever I've been driving, I've only killed 2 animals on the road, by the way. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. That I have killed more. Yeah, in the game.
We have to stress that.
Yeah, we have to make sure it's clear. Yeah,
it's Australia, so you really have to stress it.
Australia in the game.
Australia. Yeah, Australia. No, but you know, in the game. I'd be taking down animals in the game. And you know, it doesn't even matter that I've maxed out the 5-starred the animal shelter already. It doesn't matter, dude. If I'm running around and I see a poor, scared, frightened wallaby, I'm going to add to its fear. I'm going to get out of my car, run after it, going and take it down.
Is it similar to the first game, or is it totally different?
I don't remember taking down animals in the first game.
Okay,
but
so it's clearly fun for you.
Yeah. No. Death Stranding 2 is such a wonderful expansion on Death Stranding 1. You know, here's a little the hooligans lore for you. We thoroughly believe, and I still believe, we do thoroughly believe that if you make a sequel, give us more, not less. Hideo Kojima took every goddamn thing in Death Stranding 1 and then expanded on it. We got at least,
Yeah.
I just
That's
recently
smart.
learned that you can level up your fucking roads. So
That's
now I have
smart.
level 2 roads everywhere.
I honestly think if people love the first game, they're gonna expand on what people love.
You should.
They shouldn't take it away. They should give you more.
Yeah, Bethesda. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Hey, Morrowind. I'm just saying. I've been playing since Arena, but Morrowind, baby. But I'm just saying, you know, Death Stranding 2 is such an expansion on 1, and it is absolutely, yeah, it is. Andre, it's like I said earlier, it is Hideo Kojima's perfect Metal Gear Solid game. It just is. The only problem is it does feel like there was more stealth aspects to Metal Gear, the Metal Gear Solid series. But of course it is. You're Mr. Invisible. You're Duran's invisible. You're him, the man who sold the world. Him. Yeah, that's all of Mexico, Jagos. All of Mexico is literally the tutorial. But the first game, Death Stranding 1, was a tutorial. Good point. That's actually a very good point, sir.
Yeah, we're getting you ready for the second game.
Exactly. No, Hideo Kojima. Okay, I don't want to spoil nothing, so this is a bad thing to ever preface any conversation with. But you know, there is so many times where, I mean, every single time I picked up this game, something happens that is so out of left field. I'm just like, I guess I'm an asshole. I don't know, just shit. At one point in time, I won't say where or how, but Dollman just does a whole dance number for you, and you won't even know when it hits. It's like he says the thing, and it's like, oh sure, let's do it. And it's like, what? And next thing I know, boom, he's doing a whole ass dance number. It's like, the fuck? Fucking the moment you get into a hot spring, it's great. It's great.
Okay. All right. We get it.
It's so good. It's such a good game. Period.
Got to give us a full review eventually here.
I would punch him dead in the fucking throat, but I would love that, man. Each throat punch.
There was a meme saying that some guy said on X, like, I'm pretty sure Kojima makes games just to hang out with supermodels all day. Like,
not even supermodels. Norman Reedus. That man has
because all the women in his games are like super attractive, and they're like models for all the villains. I think.
I mean, rule of cool, rule of badass, because you know, hot.
It's all the connections he gets in Hollywood. I think, honestly. So,
well, it's funny because he wants to do a movie so bad, but I don't think he could ever do a movie like he can do a video game. And
you should make a movie about a video game. There we go.
It's like being cursed with a big dick. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, you should go and do porn, but do you?
All right, good night, kids.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
I've just been playing more Rivals. I think the season 3 is coming up on 3 days, so that's pretty cool.
Oh wait, you're playing Marvel Rivals?
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's right. I forgot about that. I gave up on that game.
So yeah, not surprised. A lot of people have. So
the EOMM hurt my soul, and I don't trust any right now.
So I still haven't got out of hell yet in Hades, so I'm working on that. And I've actually not retired from Tekken 8, but I'm taking a break, even though Falcom just came out. And I'm starting Street Fighter 6. As if you guys follow me on X, like I placed in gold. So not bad for somebody that hasn't played in over 2 years. So, but it was kind of crazy because like they were putting me against platinum people, and I was like, "Come on, man! I just got here. like cut me some slack." But like like it was just like riding a bike, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember now. Don't jump." That's kind of how it. Anyway, that's what I've been playing for now. I don't know what I'll be adding. I just still definitely got to play Mass Effect 2, so that's on my list. But other than that, that is what we're playing now. And now playing. Awesome.
Now I'm motivated.
Yes, Virgil. We know. And this is why we're gonna get into stream as always with the final boss. And I don't have like a final boss theme yet, but we'll do this. How about that? We're loading it up. Loading it up. Oh no, it can't read the disc.
Whoa!
That's the
memories.
Sound. No. Please insert a PS2 disc. That's what it says. All right, so tonight the final boss title is called Carry Limit. Ironic that carry limit is also in Death Stranding, right? How much you carry. So
not that it matters.
Not that it matters. But tonight we're going to be talking about something very every looter knows too well. Your carry limit. In your favorite RPGs or survival games, there's always that moment your bag is full. your stamina's low, and you got to decide, do I keep this rare gem or this healing herb? Maybe I finally dropped that rusty sword I've been hoarding since level 2. Life works very similar. We take on so much, like work, stress, relationships, expectations, regrets, goals, and we keep piling it on. It doesn't stop. Thinking we can carry everything forever. But the truth is, we all have a carry limit. It doesn't make you weak to drop old baggage. It doesn't make you selfish to let go what no longer serves you. In fact, that's how you make room for new opportunities, new memories, and new power ups. So tonight, check your life inventory. What are you still carrying that's weighing you down? What can you finally set down so you can move faster, lighter, and even stronger? This is your final boss reminder on July 8th, 2025. When your bag is too heavy, you don't get stronger, you just get slower. Make sure you make space for the good stuff. Pick up only what truly helps you on your quest. So as your final boss at the Gaming Academy, that is what we have for tonight. All right? So make sure to, drop off those things that are wearing you down and pick up some new things on the way. It's okay to do that. Right? Whether sometimes it's, memories, sometimes it's people, sometimes it's bad habits, whatever it is, let you decide. Right? But that's your final boss advice from the Game Master here tonight. Right, guys, that was a great show.
Nice.
I appreciate everybody here tonight. Duder, thanks for showing up as always.
You guys want bacon? I got bacon. You want the sandwiches?
You definitely bring the sauce. So all I gotta say. I love it.
Oh, I love you too, baby. Thank you.
Yeah, that too. For those kids watching, I'm sorry, but it's okay. It is a late night show, so it's expected. It's expected.
You said I could talk about that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's a late night. We started at 8:00. Like most people let their kids sleep by then, right? Is that how it was?
When I was and most of our viewers are in further time zones.
Yeah, exactly. They're literally listening to us from the future. So
baby girl in the back just went, I put my 5-year-old to sleep listening.
Yeah,
gonna wake up. Mom, what does it mean to have a big dick and go into porn?
All right. Any more last remarks or comments before we end the stream tonight, guys?
Well, if you want a good summary of tonight's final boss segment, it's as simple as this. Sometimes the only thing you can do with baggage is to put it down.
Facts.
Let it go.
And I'm gonna argue counter to both of you because I have to rebel somewhere. Nigga, get a bag. You got to get the bag. You put the bag and you put it in your bag and you got your bag in a bag. You got your carry limit. Man, no, you crawl. You crawl with everything to the drop-off spot, and that's when you get your bag and put it in the drop-off spot. You carry all... No. I actually forget a little bit more with every book I write. I don't know why.
And when you hit the drop-off spot, your knees are going to be wrecked.
But I'm going to be the one who's going to die with all this stuff. No, I actually secure the bag. Secure the bag.
Duder's that guy that you kill in Fortnite and all the shit he drops is purple because he's been holding it on forever.
I learned that I'm a digital hoarder. I'd like to think that, so I'm minimalist minded in real life because sometimes a real man goes on his knees, Jagos. Sometimes.
To secure the bag.
Man. To secure the bag.
All right.
Hey, whatever happens in Las Vegas. I'm just saying.
All right, gang. See you next week, right? And Duder, do you want to plug anything before you head out?
Funny story. Usually I have websites all out the wazoo. I have all kinds of stuff to ship, but I actually don't. Ever since I started them whole marketing courses, I have everything down because I realized they aren't customer-centric. Now, with that stated, you can still look up my band, Anubis Unit. We still have stuff out there, although we are working on new music, even though it's just me and the guitarist. But no, we've got new music, and the stuff that we've done recently, we redid Versus the Necronomicons, and it is good shit. Y'all into some guar with more punk edge to it, got that hard rock heavy metal to it, check it out, baby. Otherwise, look up Thomas Duder, author of the things. That's Duder. But I would normally say the Generalist is a great start, but actually, Killer 13, compilation 00 and 01. There's a short story series I got that is just weird. It is completely alt fiction. It's uber strange. You're gonna love it if you're into some interdimensional fuckery. It's very highly inspired by Blame, by Tsutomu Nihei Blame. It's inspired by all the weird shit you ever read in the short stories. What?
If I may, though, I do have one way to plug the generalist.
Oh,
Ahem. If the Dresden Files was led by a couple of jackasses.
it's called the Perpetual Jackass Engine for a reason. Yeah,
Like,
them.
like seriously, it's Dresden Files meets Rush Hour.
Yeah. No, the Generalist is great, and I do put I got the biggest book of fists you've ever read. It is a fucking weapon. The Omnibus Generalis Volume 1, but it's not that I've taken a break from writing, but I have been focusing more on other things as far as getting my bachelor's, getting my school on and such.
Nice.
Plus,
Good.
things have been kind of
I love it.
Yeah. Give me the 1995 one.
Nope, wrong one.
Available for your home in 1995.
I'd buy that for $1.
There you go. $19.95, babe. Nah, but the Killer 13 is definitely the easiest one I can throw out there. If you want to really check out my writing style, check out Killer 13 because ain't nobody written like that. Now, with that stated, the Generalist will be coming back soon. Trust.
I was kidding.
Jump scared me.
Jump scared.
God damn it. Oh my God.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. Well, drop your book down, whatever.
Oh.
Generalist 13.
Killer 13.
Oh, my bad. I combined the two. I fused them.
Yes, you did. That's a weird combo.
All right. Killer 13. Is it killer13.com?
No. Just go to Amazon, type in Killer 13, or you know what? It's even better. Type Thomas Duder, author of the things, in Amazon, and you will literally find me. There's actually a Thomas C. Duder who used to be a Civil War doctor or something like that. I knocked him out the Google ranks back in 2013. So just saying.
There you go. Yeah,
I'm ranked,
your
baby.
SEO just definitely spiked during that time. You're working hard. All right, guys. Well, that is our show. I appreciate it as always. We'll see you next week, and of course, stay vigilant, stay awesome, and stay gaming. We'll see you on everybody else's channel. Peace. Have a good one.
Class dismissed, y'all.